Hello, guys. All right. So I'm doing two things at one time. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl, Brandy Janae. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to my channel. But we about to get into this Carlos King and Christie, Chantel Christie interview, okay? Let's see what this girl got to say and let's discuss, honey. Now, I feel like some people feel like maybe she ain't got nothing to say. I do have the strong opinion that this girl is about to double down. Um, Only because we just saw it the whole season. But hey, let's hear what she got to say and let's talk about it.
Chantel Christie. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Chantel Christie.
In the flesh.
Let's have a real conversation.
Interrogate me. That's okay. That's what I came for. It's okay. Please, come on. But I'd rather it be in one central place than to try to fight strangers. I'd rather you just ask me what the people want to know. It's okay.
Chantel Christie.
Yes.
How are you?
All things considered, I'm okay. I'm doing good.
Well, first of all, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
You are a gorgeous woman.
Thank you.
You really are.
It.
I do want to start off by saying this. Thank you so much for reaching out to me.
Yes.
It was unexpected. Mm-hmm. I opened up my DM and I'm like,
you weren't expecting it, huh?
Not Chantel Christie.
Keep you on your toes.
And then I was shocked, in a good way. But what it also showed me was, look, I have created this safe space for people like you to feel comfortable, having a conversation.
Okay, this is what I mean. Is anybody else surprised that she reached out to Carlos? I thought it was pretty odd that this just happened 2 weeks ago. Yes, Carlos King is like king of interviews. I keep saying it. I think he has proven that he is, and he's right. I think people from the reality space feel safe with him because of who he is and what his proximity is. Let me hurry up because I'm in a meeting too. All right. Let's finish.
When they are going through something as tumultuous, monumental, the gravity in which you're going through things, I created this platform for that. So I just want to start by saying thank you for reaching out to me.
Yes,
I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I've heard a lot of different think pieces and opinions on my situation and what has been showed on TV. And I watched you and Dustin's full thing at what hour and whatever long. And even though, like I told you, there were things in there that I may not agree with or that I would like to defend myself on, it was done in a very tasteful way. And I didn't feel attacked. And I felt like, okay, you're a producer, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like explaining to you the events that led up to this scenario, maybe you can better understand. And even if you don't agree with the way that I handled it, you can kind of gauge like, okay, now that you mentioned that, but because the viewers don't get to see all of the ins and outs and you know what I'm saying? Like the things that are cut, the things that never see the light of day, it's very hard to understand. Like, why would you talk to her like that? Why would you do that? Why would you? So like I said, even if you walk away from here today feeling like, bro, you still shouldn't have did that. I'm okay with that. Like, I understand that. But I do want it to be somewhere on wax, my side of the story. If I never do anything else in entertainment, if I never go back to Basketball Wives, whatever happens, I want to know that that it lives in history somewhere, my side of things. You know?
I received that. And I seriously just cannot thank you enough for sitting down, because I know everybody wants to talk to you. I'm assuming a lot of people reach out to you.
A lot. TMZ, Shade Room, any news site that you can think of reached out. And the majority of them, they wanted me to be in LA. They wanted me to come out there. And I told them, that's not where I'm based anymore. Like when this show was done filming, I moved away and I was like, I washed my hands of it. So when I reached out to you and you said, listen, if I can situate this, I can be there. And I was like, now see, that's journalism to me.
Thank
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like, oh, okay, he's serious about the story. And it didn't give like, I'm trying to be messy. It's just more so, I want to get to the bottom of things. Like, what's tea?
Yeah.
What's tea?
No, what's funny is, so I'm like, where you live? I'm like, so I called my producer. He and I talking, and I said to myself, God is in this conversation. And I do want you to know that, because for me, I did not seek you out.
Yes.
And I flew in town. I flew in my producer, and I said, in order for me to have a conversation with her, I need to feel her. I need to be able to like look her face to face, eye in the eye. And I needed to, like I do all of my guests, I want to feel the energy from you. What I will say before I get started with the questioning, you are very likable right now.
I really am. This one, man. Listen,
Chantel,
you not just be there.
You are
kind of got introduced to the world.
You're
Like this.
very likable. Your spirit.
Not bad.
I didn't know what I was going to get coming into this. I didn't know if you were rightfully so in a different space, but what I want the raindrops to know right now, this is real. Y'all know I don't lie to y'all. Your energy is infectious. You're in a great mood. You're beautiful on camera. You're stunning in person.
Thank you.
You have been a meme for the past couple of days. So before we get started, I do want to ask you, with all things considered, mentally, how are you doing?
I think I'm doing a lot better now than I was when this first dropped and when this first happened. I think I was in a really dark space. And even though I knew that it was coming, because obviously I was there in Hawaii when it happened and I didn't know how much they would show, but I was kind of bracing myself through the green screens and the interviews that I did. I answered questions that let me know, like, all right, this is going to see the light of day. You know what I'm saying? This is not a fight or whatever that they're going to scrap. And so even though I try to prepare myself, it's just different when you're in it and you have millions of people just saying the wildest stuff. I mean, they've wished death on me. They tell me when they see me, they gon' curb stomp me on Jackie's behalf. And I'm like, you want to go to jail for Jackie? Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, I get how crazy this looks, right? Like it's terrible. It is terrible. I'm not negating that fact. But you guys are judging me based on how I'm handling someone that has been in my life for 32 years, right? And you guys are seeing 32 minutes of an episode. And so it's very hard to carry that weight, but I make the joke to people. I'm like, I didn't only inherit her neck, I also inherited her thick skin. Not even being funny, but for real. Like I know that I can take this. I have a really strong support system. I have a really strong village around me that is checking in on me consistently. When I can't pick myself up, they're there to do that, whether that be my husband, my sister-in-law, my friends, whatever. Like, I've established a really strong support group. So I'm just taking it day by day. Some days it's like, these people are so ignorant. Like, I'm not even going to pay it any mind or attention. And then other days it's like, I want to argue with every single person and I want to prove myself and I want to explain myself. And I know that I can't respond to each and every one of these individuals. So this felt like the safest space to do that. And then just kind of wash my hands of it. What I say here today, this is my final statement. Like, I'm not going back and forth with anybody because I know that this is my truth. I know what my intentions are and what they've always been. And I'm not going to let outsiders create this narrative that really isn't me. Like, if you know me, and you're just meeting me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been around me all of 10 minutes. There are people that have known me my whole life and know, like, this is not who you are. That was a really bad moment in your life and it's publicized for everybody to see, but this is not who you are. So you can't wear that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't, and I don't want that for you at all. And I'm happy that, look, after this conversation, I agree with you. They have this to watch until the end of time, before obviously your next ventures, and we'll get to that too. But I want to start from the beginning. Okay.
Let's.
Who was Chantel Christie as a little girl with the parents of Doug and Jackie? Like, what was your childhood like?
Everybody used to call me the poor little rich girl because even though like my parents had money, people think that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? And of course, like you have those material things, but I was the kid that wanted to like work for it. Like I was making the family newspapers, I was trying to do hair, like all of the little hustles. That is something that I get from my mom, you know, like I'm a hustler at heart. So this idea that I grew up just very privileged and like spoiled and bratty, it couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, I think that having my grandmother in the house for all of my life, literally, like she passed away when I was 18. So for 18 years, I have this incredible woman that is around dropping all these gems and kind of just raising me in the ways that my mom couldn't. You get what I'm saying? Like we
Is this
just
Doug's mother or Jackie's mother?
this is Jackie's mom.
Okay.
She's been on the show before. Um, I think in the first season, her journey with cancer and stuff like that was kind of chronicled a little bit. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I just even though I didn't have maybe like a conventional or like a typical upbringing because we moved around so much. Every time my dad got traded, we're moving. We were never stationary like I am with my kids now, you know? And so I experienced a lot over time, just living in Canada, living in Texas, living in California. Like I've had so many different experiences over my life that I just have I'm just a different person, you know, than I guess you would typically meet because I've had so many experiences and I've lived so many places and I've met so many people. Like I think in that way I'm a little more well-rounded than maybe I present myself, you know? Like when I get upset, obviously I have a hard time talking and expressing myself, but um yeah, I just that little girl, she still lives in me, you know, but I think I have just kind of buried her away a little bit.
When you were a little girl growing up, your grandmother obviously lives there. You're saying that, she pretty much was, not to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming the mother figure you were looking for. You
Absolutely.
did say on camera that Jackie was obviously chasing Doug, but obviously there with her husband, as he is being a basketball player. We all know Jackie Christie was at every game. Did you feel like your mother abandoned you and your siblings for her husband?
For a long time, I did feel that way. And I think that now that I'm a mother and a wife myself, and I'm married to someone that is actually in that same profession, um, I can understand her thought process or where she was coming from. Like, listen, it's all these groupies out here. I want to be next to my man, right? But what I realize now as a mother myself is that that's a choice. You can choose to go and be with your man, or you can choose to be with your children. And you made your choice, and that's okay. Like it is what it is, and I can't go back and change it. You can't go back and change it, but you also can't tell me that that wasn't my experience.
Mhm.
When I had these basketball games, when I had these school events, when I had the parent teacher conferences, when I got my first menstrual cycle, like this my grandmother was who was there for those experiences. So that doesn't take away the fact that you gave birth to me or that, we do have memories throughout my life. Like I'm not taking that away from her at all, but to try to rewrite history in an effort to discredit me, that's where we defer.
There's been conversations about there seems to be so much blame with your mom, and there's none with your dad. And the two of them both made the decision to have you.
Mhm.
They feel like Jackie gets all the smoke. They recognize that your mom may not have been the perfect parent, but they do feel like a lot of the smoke your mother gets and your father doesn't. Why is that?
Because these are my experiences. I mean, you can very well live in the same house and everybody has a different experience. And I tell a lot of people, like, my dad has had the pleasure of experiencing my mom as a wife. Me and my siblings have experienced her as a mother. And there is a difference there. And if you don't acknowledge that or you don't understand that, I love that for you. But as for me, it was different. Like, I'm watching you put on this like perfect, okay, dad is on the way home, like let me make sure everything is good and perfect. Like, i've I've seen it in real time. You get what I'm saying? And so now, as I said, a mother and a wife myself, especially to someone that's in the same profession, I understand how busy their schedules can get. You get up, you go work out, you got a shooting practice, you got to meet with the coach, it's a full day's work, and I get that. So when I hear people say, well, why doesn't he get any of the blame? Do y'all think that he was just sitting there and he would just watch her like verbally abuse me and go on about his day? Like, that's not the way that it happened. It didn't, these instances didn't, I'm telling you, she's telling me, if you don't go clean your room, your dad's going to kick you down the stairs. And this is clearly, he's not here, which is why she's saying that. But I think that the viewers are in some ways choosing to be willfully ignorant and say, well, why are you putting all the blame on her? I'm speaking about my negative experiences with her. If that's the blame, I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it by all means. But I didn't have the same sort of negative experiences with my dad that I have with my mom. And I think that that's a story for a lot of people out here, that you do have a great relationship with one parent and they can very well still be married. I think that my dad has shown over these last 3 decades that he will love her through and through.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to try to love you out of this. I'm going to try to love you into being a better person and all of these things. So I don't want to speak on their marriage. I think that what I did and said on the show in regard to their marriage was very tacky and tasteless. And I think that being a wife myself, like, I don't want nobody to do that to me. So just because I'm upset, like, girl, all right now, like, you know what I'm saying? But in that moment, I just saw red and I just felt so like, you're really playing in my face. And like, now I'm just unloading the clip. Like, you know what I mean? And saying things that I typically wouldn't, or that I know that I shouldn't. But here we are.
Mhm.
Now we both rolling around in the pig pen, looking crazy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I don't know. And I think the tough times that I have had with my dad over the years, whether it was as a teenager or whatever, he's always apologized. He's always set the standard. He's always taken accountability. If there was something that he did wrong, he stood on that. And he parented me in a way that I respect you. Like, we may not have always had this perfect relationship, but I respect the way that you've treated me. And I tell people, I say, I wasn't raised, from as far as my mom goes, I wasn't raised on respect. I was raised on fear. And because of that, I believe that when you get to a certain age or a certain point in your life, that fear dissipates. And then it's like, I'm looking in your face and I'm telling you, I'm not scared of you.
Mhm.
And so that's what I think that the viewers aren't really understanding. We didn't have this close, locked in mother daughter, come lay down on your shoulder, tell you, like, we didn't have that my whole life. We've tried, we've had those moments that you do see on the show from previous seasons where we're out and we're shopping and I got my daughter, and we've tried to have those moments, but we don't have that. And that's okay.
Well, listen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not okay. You know what I mean? It's not okay because one thing I even said in my recap was, and we'll get to the incident in later, but one thing I did say was, I believe your experience.
Mhm.
And I'm not here, I wasn't there on the Zoom to negate your experience.
Right.
And in person, I'm not there to negate your experience. I was blessed as a Black person to have both parents in the household. I was the quintessential mother's boy before she
Mhm.
passed away. And I've been honest with my raindrops about me and my father were not close. growing up. I was scared of him.
Mhm.
He put fear in me. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that just how he was raised, and we'll get to that in a second too. So I disagree with you. I don't think it's okay.
Mhm.
And I think it is okay though to talk about it. And I do think it's okay to listen, just because it's the minority
Mhm.
to say things about your childhood experience that you know to be true, doesn't mean it's not your experience.
Mhm.
Yes, the overwhelming population of the Black household
Right.
that we both grew up in, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
don't go against your parents.
No.
We'll
Do
get
as
to
I
that
say,
later.
not as I do.
Yes, but I know what it's like to adore one parent. And I know what it's like as a child to feel like this person doesn't like me. You love me,
Right.
but I don't feel like you like me.
Right.
You said something earlier that I want to go back on. You talked about your mother being verbally abusive.
Mhm.
What did that look like for you as a child?
I think that I don't know. I think expressing the things that she said to a lot of people, it would come off as like that was a typical Black household. Like your mom put fear in your heart. She talked down to you. But for me, that wasn't the type of parenting that I needed. Right. I've learned through being a mother myself that you have to kind of meet your kids where they are and you have to handle them differently. And so I think that maybe, and this is where I give her grace. Maybe you didn't know how to be a parent, right? Maybe you didn't understand how to be a mother, how to talk to your kids, how to um, problem solve and be kind and gentle and all of those things. I can give you grace, but you can't tell me that I didn't experience what I experienced. Right. And so that's where the rub comes in, because it's like you want to rewrite history and tell me I didn't do that. I gave you everything. I gave you the best life. You did. You could provide all of the material things. He made millions of dollars and you could provide all of the things. That doesn't take away from the fact that I felt like you was talking to me really crazy, or I feel like you were emotionally abusive, or that doesn't, two
Would she
things
call
can
you
be
out your
true
name?
plenty of times.
The B word?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like you tell me at 12 years old to my face, I hate you, verbatim. That is a moment I will never forget.
Why did she say that?
We were just in the middle of one of our many heated arguments, disputes about whatever it may have been. And it just got to a point where she was like, I hate you. And I think that out of all of her kids, out of all three of us, I'm the most outspoken. I'm the one that is like pedal to the floor, right? I've always been that way. Anybody that knows me knows that. And that's something that I need to work on. That's something that I need to change about myself and improve on. But this didn't come out of nowhere. And it definitely didn't happen for the sake of this show. This is who I've been. And the instances that we've had that have been very heated, it's never gotten physical, but it's gotten right there beneath it. The words that are being exchanged, the things that are being said, this is not new. This didn't come out of nowhere. Like, this is, we've had those really hard moments where it's like, I cannot believe that you're my mom. And maybe at times she thought, I can't believe you're my daughter. I don't know.
Would you call her the B word back?
I don't think that I've ever called her the B word to her face until we got to Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at 12 years old, your mother says, I hate you, as you guys were arguing. And as a 12-year-old girl, that chips away
Absolutely.
at your confidence, and it chips away at your ability. And again, I really, the blessing of this conversation is because I think if people can not look at what happened on Basketball Wives, and I want you guys to just for a second remove the altercation on Basketball Wives, and what I want people to really focus on right now is, as a kid, and as I'm talking to you, you know what is so fascinating, Chantel? I can relate to you. I can relate to you. I can relate to you. I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not saying that for you to feel comfortable. I've said this before on my own podcast. I've had issues with my dad. We're past that now, but I know what it's like for a parent to say something to you. My father said to me, I was 7, and he said, "Stop acting like a girl."
Mm.
And again, I'm not called out my name,
Right.
but as a little boy, hearing that, that was the day I said to myself,
Absolutely.
"You don't like me.
Right there.
You don't like me." And I was 7
Mhm.
and I was 35. So 28 years later, I took him aside and spoke to him about that. So for 28 years,
You held on to it.
I held on to it. I never forgot it. And for 28 years, I lived my life thinking my father doesn't like who I am
Mhm.
because I am a feminine boy.
Mhm.
My sexuality has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that I'm a feminine boy, and him saying, "Stop acting like a girl," made me look at him differently. And I held on to that for 28 years until I said something to him. And he said to me, "I'm sorry. I didn't even realize I said that to you. And I
Mhm.
apologize." And now I made him a good and we're
You were able to
fine.
move forward.
I'm able to move forward. And I think for me, as I was watching the dynamic between you and your mom, I knew, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I thought to myself, okay, how deep is the pain?
Mhm.
How deep is the pain? And what I'm realizing right now in this moment, it doesn't have to be the physical pain of being physically abused, sexually abused.
Right.
It doesn't have to be those monumental like black or white thing where we're like, boom,
Absolutely.
it can be your mother at that time saying to you, "I hate you."
Yes.
And things not ever really being the same.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
No,
Okay.
absolutely. And I think that in the back of my mind, I always held on to that. Like, even if I was able to walk away from that conversation and, we move on and whatever. And here I am 20 years later, still feeling that way in the back of my mind. Like, you still feel some sort of way towards me, whether that's for whatever your reasoning is, you have to hate me because if you didn't, why would you treat me like this?
And when you say treat you, obviously your sister, we'll get that in a second. Your sister said, "Baby, Chantel was spoiled." My mama looked, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it appeared that, or what was said was, you were the apple of Jackie's eye. You were the one who got everything they wanted. You were the one that they poured so much into, and that you are a mini Jackie yourself. Is that something that you can acknowledge, that you, out of all your siblings, you are the one that got the most or was
I
spoiled?
won't say out of all my siblings because me and my brother have the same mom and dad, right?
Mhm.
And so for my sister, and I'm gonna try to be not careful with my words because my truth is my truth, right? But I now understand that she doesn't want me to speak about her and her experiences. So I can speak on mine, right?
Mhm.
Um, my sister has a different father. And so, not to in any way take away from her experiences, right? But I have a daughter from a previous relationship, and now I have my son with my husband. And I know that for me personally, I go out of my way to ensure that they feel equal. I never want my daughter to be in this house feeling like, oh, mommy and Noah and Daquan are sitting there on the couch and I'm off to myself. I don't play like that. My kids are equal. It doesn't matter who your father is. I'm your mother, and this is what it is. So I think that a lot of what she may have felt came from the fact that you see mom and dad in this household. And no matter if my dad adopts you, no matter if he takes you under his wing, no matter all of these things, you still don't feel like this is really mine. You almost feel like an outsider in some ways. And so for me, I always felt like, how do I get us to be equal? Or how do I get her to feel like she's just as much loved and adored as I am? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see me having these great experiences with my father. I want you to have the same thing. So I can't tell you what her thought process was. I can't tell you what my mom's thought process was. But for me, even if I did have the material things, I still felt just as my sister did. We was both left here with our grandmother. She didn't take me with her. Like, our experiences, maybe because yours are different, it doesn't change what that we were raised by the same mother. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So much of what you experienced, I probably did too. It may have looked different for you because it is different for you. But that doesn't mean that you got this monster and I got this perfect mother. That's not what happened. Now, if that's your experience, I understand that, but that wasn't my experience.
And it goes back to what we say, that children can live in the same household
And
with
have
their parents and have a different experience. And I think that's the case with you and your siblings. When it comes to your father, would you open up to your dad about how you felt about the things that were going on with your mom, or you kept that to?
no,
Oh, no.
never. No. We just got to this point in like my late 20s where I finally started to really open up and be transparent with my dad and tell him, because I started to see him as a person and not a parent. So
Mm.
because of that, I'm like, okay, I could see where you were coming from if when you didn't want me to do this or you didn't want me to do that. I started to relate to him more. And so I felt comfortable opening up. I felt comfortable saying, yeah, like this is where I was at, or this is what I thought, or this is what I felt. And the difference, and I'm not trying to compare.
Okay, I just gotta stop. I was in a meeting, y'all, and I could not be off mute. Because it was a lot of talking going on. But listen, this is triggering me a little bit, because I think that there are a lot of people that can relate to some of what she is expressing. But it, like, at the core of it, you really just sound like a spoiled brat. And you really just sound like you are like complaining, um and judging. And I'm concerned that the same grace that she gives Doug for not being there, but still in some complacent way being there, but yet you understand him and you get why, like why he don't know. And even this part, you start to see him as a person. How is it that you can see your mother that way? Yet what I continue to hear, and this is very pertinent, at least to me, I continue to hear her say, now that I'm a mother and my husband's in the same profession, what she has done is placed herself in a position where she's judging her mom based off of what her decisions are, and not even understanding that, y'all, you got a whole different set of circumstances that goes along with having the same variables, because that's really all she's comparing is, oh, I'm a mom, I have kids, my husband's a basketball professional. So so you so I'm able to make these different decisions. um what is the new generation now? This is her, like, at its finest. And I thought she would have been one of the ones that, hadn't got lost just yet. But I was listening to this because I wanted to give her a chance. I wanted to hear. I just wanted to give her a chance. And I wanted to understand. I don't have to agree with people to understand, like, why they're saying the things that they say, or why they do, or what they mean. Like, I don't have to agree with them, right? But I can have understanding. And I'm listening to her. All I hear is validation. I really don't hear her explaining anything. I hear her validating. And I think that maybe that's a learned behavior. Maybe she, like, to what she's describing, that might be a learned behavior. And that's the reason why this is what we left with. I think I'm about to cut this short, y'all, because I don't even know how much longer I can sit up and listen to this, honestly.
Hear them, but I'm speaking on my experience. The difference between my mom and dad is that He is very quick to take accountability, apologize, acknowledge, understand, even if he doesn't agree. Right. And so then you have the polar opposite parent who is deflecting, no accountability. And it's very hard to find that balance because on one hand, I don't feel safe to share this with you. And on the other hand, you're like my best friend. It's very hard to find that balance.
I've been told through many psychiatrists and the many books that I read that for most girls, not all, but for most girls, your first bully is your mom.
1,000.
I have been told that. When I say that, I'm not calling your mother a bully, but what I'm saying is based on your relationship with your mother. And you said something so poignant earlier when you said, perhaps my mother did the best she could
Right.
with the information she had of being a mom.
Right.
Do you think your mother intentionally wanted to treat you the way she treated you? Or do you think now being a mom, my mother did the best she could with the information she had?
I think it's a bit of both. Honestly, I think that that is my truth, that I experienced a mom who maybe had no plans of being a mom, right? And this all kind of just fell into your lap. Like maybe you didn't want to be a mom, but you're taking your responsibilities on. I don't know her backstory like that, or I haven't had these sort of late.
That's interesting too. Her own mother practically raised you. You have these issues with your mom, and yet you don't know her history as a mom or her history being raised by her own mom.
Conversations with her to understand where her mind was when she had my sister, or when she had me, or when she had my brother. But I think that at times you didn't know any better, so you couldn't do any better. But then there are other instances where it's like, now you know you was dragging it, right? Like you know you was out of line. And because I can never have that sort of real honest conversation where she just takes the mask off and she just says, you know what, this is the real, right? Like and meets me in this conversation with the desire to understand instead of attack or feel attacked. We can't really get anywhere because I'm telling you what my experiences are and you're telling me what maybe your intentions were, and we can't meet somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how things start to really deteriorate and play out how they have.
You were close to your grandmother, which is Jackie's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, what did you see in terms of how was Jackie's relationship? This estranged mother figure who you felt at the time, what was her relationship and dynamic like with your grandmother who you cherish and just love so much?
It wasn't bad. I think that she was, I think, the only one in this life that I've witnessed outside of my dad who really loved my mom unconditionally. Like, I know who you are, I know how you are, and I'm going to love you through that. I'm going to try to fix you in some ways. You get what I'm saying? Like, my mom is one of 9. My grandma had 9 kids.
That's confusing for me. Why is it that she can give so much grace to everybody around? Wouldn't you think that who Jackie is would be a direct reflection of whatever happened with her mom? But you don't see it for that. You're about to explain this woman's life. Oh, wow.
And this is the one that you chose to live with, help out. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there are still 8 other children, but my mom was more so like, I'm not going to say the problem child, but I think that my grandmother knew she's the one that needs it the most. And so having her there, it was like she just picked up a lot.
Or did your grandma know that as long as she was there, she could get whatever she wanted to? Was that an abusive cycle that you were called in and actually watching play out? And now here you are actually defending it? Boy, this is what I mean by people be so woke that they need to go back to sleep. Like she's so woke that she can analyze her own feelings, but yet even in the middle of you analyzing and coming to realizations about what your feelings are, you're not able to take that to the next. So you don't have any more insight. All the insight that you got about yourself, it didn't lead you to any more insight for your mother. She is a problem. She is the problem.
Of the slack. She just did all the things. You're cooking every meal, you're taking us to school, pick up, drop off, sitting in the parking lot sometimes. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You're being the mother for her. And whether that was you or
And was that her making up for something that she lacked with her? See, she the problem.
enabling her to not step up to the plate as a mom, whether you feel like you're giving her the support that she needs for her own mental, I don't know. And because my grandmother is no longer here, I can't really have that conversation and get that sort of clarity and understanding to be able to better understand my mom. I don't have that.
In this very moment, I have a light bulb moment. Maybe you recognize it in yourself and you have, or maybe you haven't. In this very moment, I have an aha moment of, if any Black child grew up where their grandmother pretty much raised them, the moment your grandmother passed away, you lost your protector.
Oh my gosh.
You lost your protector. And I think subconsciously, Chantel, the moment the woman who you felt protected you was there for you, you loved. The moment she passed away, you were now forced to deal with your mother alone without that shield.
Without that shield. And at that point, I really felt like a motherless child. Even though my mother is here in the flesh, this woman that has raised me and taught me and picked me up when I was down and just been that safe, protective space for all of these years.
And I'm inclined to think that maybe she wasn't that for Jackie. That's what I'm saying. How beautiful is that you can have all of that with her mom? That could be the problem. Baby. I've been watching way too much Ayanla.
Now she's gone. And she passed away from cancer. Like, you know what I'm saying? So watching her deteriorate, and I was her caregiver for like the last year of her life. Like, there were so many hurt feelings and just so much, it was just so heavy for me. You know what I mean? And I think that maybe my mom in her mind thought things would change between us, or maybe I don't know, but I wasn't able to build a relationship with her at that point. Like, I moved out at 18, and this is what people fail to realize about me. They think like I've just been spoiled all my life. I moved out at 18 and went and got a job at Walmart because I wanted to be away from my mom. I didn't want to live off of her. I didn't want to be provided for and all these things that people think. When my grandma died, I was like, okay, now I got to hit the ground running. I have to figure something out. And within a month, I was a cashier at Walmart, name tag and all. And from there, moved to Nordstrom and assistant manager at Hustler Hollywood. And I had a lot of odds and end jobs along the way to prevent depending on my mom and to prevent maybe having the tough conversation.
I was just about to say, I don't think it was to prevent you from dealing with her. It's not preventative. What you did was, Chantel, when your grandmother passed away and you're 18 years old, what you don't realize you did, my love, you were escaping your mother. You ran away. You ran away from home.
Oh no, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like you ran away. The fact that this woman who I love is no longer here.
Yes.
And she's removed from the equation. I'm now forced and faced to deal with that.
And I cannot do
And I can't deal with that because, again, I relate to you so much because when my mom passed away, because I want the world to know that I now see you so differently now. When my mom passed away, all nine, I have 10 siblings. So I can relate to Jackie too.
Right, of course.
I have 9 siblings, and 10 of us. All of us were extremely close to our mother. The moment our mother passed away, I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself just to be safe because I don't need no drama in my family. The moment my mom passed away, I said, I have to talk to my father now. We're fine, but I will call my mom and she'll be like, you know, it's your dad's birthday. Oh, tell him happy birthday.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Carlos, blah, 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 blah. Your father in the background. Oh, tell him I say hi. It wasn't until my mother passed away that I said to myself, I now have to develop a relationship with my father. When your grandmother passed away, you ran away because you did not want to deal with the heavy work, and it's heavy to all of a sudden at 18 years old, start a relationship with your mom. And you
see, this what Carlos be losing me though. Cause like Carlos, you not gonna bring the correlation between how much grace she giving this grandma of hers and not figure out or not even ask the question about what their relationship was and finding out if that's the reason why her mother shows up the way she does. Let's keep going.
You've been what you have done, Chantel, which is no fault of your own. And you said it earlier, you are still a little girl inside processing your experience. And unfortunately, you haven't been able to find the words to articulate it, and you suppressed it, and your anger has manifested.
Absolutely. I read a comment that said, Takari is sad and Chantel is mad. And I said, ooh,
preach.
Clock it.
Preach.
That's what you see manifesting. People, because you don't see me crying and carrying on, you can't have any sort of empathy for me, right? You see the anger and it's like, how could you? But if you don't understand my plight, be grateful for that. I've been through a lot of experiences in my life, and that doesn't excuse my behavior.
Okay, I'm glad she said that, because again, throughout this whole interview, it's like she's proven that she's trying to prove to herself that she's better than Jackie. And you're not. Like, you really not. I'm glad she said that much, because nothing that she said really added up to why you went on that show and acted the way you did. All these feelings, valid, they're yours. We're not going to take them away. But another thing that came to my mind while I was listening was feelings are not facts. I think that we need to start to remember that feelings are not facts. Like, just because you have a feeling doesn't make that the fact.
It doesn't.
You hold full accountability.
Absolutely.
For your behavior.
Absolutely. When I got to that door, I could have and should have turned around and walked out of it. 1000%. When I seen in real life outside of these cameras, you're not going to take accountability. You're not going to acknowledge what you've been doing all season long. Right now, to the outside world, we both look like fools. I just need to go. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. For the first time in my life, I'm toe to toe with who I feel like was my first bully, and I'm not backing down. I don't, something in me just, I was spiraling. And that's what you see play out. People think that because I haven't come out and said, I apologize to my mom for this, that I think that I was right in the altercation or in what happened.
She's right. I thought so. And even with the release that she said, she didn't say anything that sounded like I take accountability. She doubled down.
There are plenty of instances and times during this season where I was wrong, where I could have removed myself, where I shouldn't have engaged? Absolutely.
Let's start with the fact that you even walked onto that set, like with the intent to go against your mother. Like that's where you went wrong.
I understand that. I'm not delusional. Like, I know it looks that way and I get it. Like, it's fair. You guys can only go off of what you see. Like you said,
Yeah.
I get it. But I know what I have experienced since.
See, that's it. But I know what I've experienced. So what are you saying? Like that sounds like somebody talking in a circle to me. Jump down in the comments and tell me, do I got it right or am I crazy? Because you just told us you take accountability, but I was there for everything that happened this season. Like, so you still validating your behavior though. You still validating your behavior. Like, so that's not being accountable. Like, what is wrong with people? That's not being accountable.
The start of filming this show. And that's what I think that people fail to realize when I'm on the show and I'm talking about her taking accountability and apologizing and so on and so forth. I'm talking about stuff that's happening right now at my big age, at 32, in Los Angeles, on these cameras, off these cameras. I'm talking about right now in this season. I wasn't even talking about my childhood. Now, if we want to tell the backstory and you want to understand better how I kind of came to this place of not being super close with her, we can do that. But what I was searching for this season was not her to go back and say, you know what, I shouldn't have talked to you like that when you were a kid. I shouldn't have such and such. That was not what happened. And it did not come across that way on camera at all. At all. So that's something that I have to live with. But because I know my truth and I know my intention.
That's it right there. Like, okay, now we're getting somewhere because, right, like, what was your intent coming on the show? You know what the history is. This ain't your first rodeo. You've been around. You know how this works. So what is it that she really thought was going to happen? And I say this all the time about reality shows and reality stars. Like, I think Kenya just said it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to end up going to find that and posting the clip because the biggest mistake you make as a reality show participant, star, whatever it's called, when you sign in a release to join a reality show. But the biggest misconception you have is that you're going to be able to pick how you're portrayed. Like, duh, duh. That is the ultimate thing that you don't have any control over. And it's so crazy that one by one. So that goes to show just how delusional you actually are. Because for you to have gone on a show to think that you were going to be able to show something else, and now you're upset that something else came out. Like, I didn't go on the show to talk about my childhood trauma. Like, girl, if you didn't, why are you here? Because that's the reason why they asked you. Like, that's the reason why they asked you to come. So how you didn't know that's what they wanted? All right, girl, let's go.
That's the only thing that is keeping me afloat right now.
So let's get into that. You've been on the show before. We've seen you a part of Basketball Wives a couple of times. This was the first time where, okay, Chantel is low-key a full-time cast member. When you got the call to join the show, did you know that, okay, this is going to be an opportunity for me to work with my mom? Like, where were you and your mom's relationship when you got the phone call to join the show this season?
We weren't in a bad space by any means necessary, but we also weren't close. We weren't besties. We weren't, I'm calling her and telling her my business.
And that's the other thing too. Like, I'm sick of this. I feel this is a personal thing. That's why I'm feeling a little triggered. I'm tired of people like throwing up some sort of normalcy about what it is it's supposed to be. Like, Who said that y'all not close? Like, your relationship is whatever it is. Why is it that you have to explain to us what close is or what it is you do and don't share with your mother? I think there are some relationships that they don't share certain things with their mother. It doesn't make them not close. It just is there are certain things you probably just not telling your mother. Like, that's okay. That is freaking okay. Like, God, everything that, like, just because something doesn't look this particular way doesn't mean it is rooted in dysfunction. It could be actually as functional as it needs to be.
What I want people to understand is that I moved away from Sacramento and away from my mom when my daughter was 2.5 years old. She's 8 years old now. So me and Jackie have not been living in the same state for 5 years. We're talking over text. We have our phone.
Like, here we go again. How many parents and children don't live in the same state, don't live in the same vicinity, and that is the form of communication they have, is to text and to talk and the video chat. Like, girl, you created, like, it's all like you take the smallest little things and you're creating a thread of dysfunction when there's nothing dysfunctional about it. It just is. And so, and that's the other thing. You're the one talking about you moved away from your mother. Like, as a grown ass adult, what is wrong with that? You moved out your mother's house. Okay. You were supposed to.
Calls. She'll send the kids Christmas gifts. That's the sort of interactions that we're having. Ever so often, I'll go to Sacramento. Obviously, my dad, where he works. So Disney on Ice is coming to Golden One Center. I'm going to take the kids, things like that. But me and my mom had not been in the same space for extended periods of time in years. This is not somebody that I'm seeing and everything is great off camera, and then I get on camera and I code switch on you. That's not what happened.
You so code
We were not locked in. We were not where we are now by any means necessary, or I never would have agreed to come and do the show. But I think that I had high hopes that I've been on this show before. I had to sit down with Laura. I've had all the drama with the other girls and all of these things. I can come on and show the growth. I can show, okay, like, no, we definitely don't have the best history. We definitely don't have.
This girl is as delusional as freaking Jackie. And I'm like, I don't even know if I can go further. That's so funny. I don't think I was able to finish Jackie's interview with Carlos. Like, I feel like I cut that interview off short as well for the same reason. Like, I can't sit up and listen to you talk about something like you don't know what we all sitting here talking about. She thought she would come on this season of Basketball Wives and actually be able to show her growth. Baby, she was testing herself because clearly she ain't grown at all. Like, that's what we found out, is that you got more growing to do. That's what everybody found out.
We have a very checkered past, but we're moving forward. We're trying to move forward. So when my mom reaches out and the producers reach out, this is months in the making. And the first several times I said, no, I'm a newlywed. I have this new baby. Like, I don't need this. Respectfully, like, I get it. Everybody said I did this for a check. Was I appropriately compensated for my time? Absolutely. I wasn't going to do it for free. But did I need this? No. My husband takes impeccable care of his family. So I didn't come on here for the sake of a check to embarrass Jackie. That's not the way that this played out. Y'all came and found me.
And she could just use the word "my mother." Every time she continues to call that lady Jackie, that you did come on to purposely embarrass her. Because you could really just say "my mother." How the hell you gonna call her Jackie like you one of us? I guess that's how she feel, and clearly. But I mean, damn, You know, that's the thing. Like, damn, you just have zero respect. And like, did all of this reverence you have for your dad, the reverence you have for your grandmother, I feel that at the very least, they would expect you to have the of respect for your mom. Like, and again, the calling her Jackie, like, that's a threat. That's you mean like that's an attack. That's an attack on your mother. So now you done did it on Basketball Wives. Now you done called up Carlos King, got his ass sitting there for you to do it again. When your mother was on Carlos King, she made sure to not stay clear. The same way she walked away from everything this particular season, honey, and you just went for the cheese, just like an immature kid. That's what talk about. You came on there to show the growth, girl. She found out so quick that she need to grow some more, honey. You got to grow some more because you were not there. And then I feel like she feels a little bit validated that she ran into the girl Brittany because y'all can be disrespectful together.
I was in Arizona, out the way for years. I was never in the blogs. I was never in no drama. I was out the way for years. I was living a
We all liked it that
peaceful
way.
life, letting my husband love on me, letting my kids build memories, and I was good.
Her son is like 2. Like that, and you hear, like, that's what I'm saying. She takes whatever little opportunity she has and throws the smallest jab at Jackie. Like, girl, you need some therapy. You need some therapy. Cause like the jabs that she reached to take, they so low level. Making memories with your kids. Your daughter is 5. Oh no, excuse me. I was being facetious because my point is that her daughter is young, but your daughter is 8. That's what she just said. You still got a long way to go. Your daughter got to reach puberty. That's like get to puberty and then come and tell somebody about parenting, okay? Because why you gotta find little activities and right, you can go to the museum and go to the park, like taking care of the little toddlers. Like, yeah, they like to play and jump and make a lot of noise, but nobody talks about how easy that is. It's easy to entertain a toddler. Fool with one of these preteens. Now come talk to me. When you got to yell at them about getting in the tub and washing their ass and coming home on time and doing their homework and studying, talk to me then. Girl, that lady.
Y'all came and found me. I turned it down multiple times.
You should have kept turning it down.
Continued encouragement and petitions and so on and so forth from my mom. Oh, come
So
on,
now
man. We're going to do this. It's going to be great. It's going to be.
That's another thing. Now, from my mom. And here's the thing. Yo, silly tail, you knew what was coming. Like, you so smart, but you walked right into it. But it's all like, I did it because my mom wanted to. But y'all wasn't in a good place. You knew your mom wanted you to do that too. And yet so because she wanted you to pretend like you was in a good place, oh my God, that could not happen. So let me just double down on our issues that I didn't come here to show. I'm gonna wait until after everything hits the fan, and I'm gonna go try to convince everybody. Like, no, I didn't come on here for this to come out. Girl, bye.
Positive. Come make your little money and go on about your business. I'm talking to my husband about it. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, I mean, I don't know. You know. Same thing my dad said. You know how y'all could get. I don't know if it's the best idea, but if
your father wasn't even into the idea.
Wow.
Nobody
knows. All right now, because he knows like we don't have the best track record. We don't have the closest relationship. And he knows that we're both firecrackers in that way. He knows his child, and he knows I'm not going to back down. And once you take me to that point, I could give up about these cameras and anything else. I don't play like that. You can see in her previous interviews where she says, my daughter is a very private person. I begged her to be on this show. So I wasn't looking for this.
Yeah, no, I interviewed your mom, of course, and she said your mother said what you said, like she reached out to get you on the show. Your mother did confirm that to me.
So you brought me here to play in my face.
That's how you felt, or do you still feel that way?
I mean, we could get into the meat and bones of what happened. Absolutely, that is what happened. You played in my face.
Okay, so I'm
just confused, girl. Like I'm confused because you know your mama better than everybody. So how she talk you into coming on the show and then turn around and play in your face? Because you the one telling us that you know her better than everybody. You know her better than everybody. So that would mean that you knew she was gonna play in your face. Make it make sense. Where is make it make sense? Okay, make it make sense. Where you at? What is this? What is this we looking at?
I'm a huge Basketball Wives fan. I watch every single episode. I'm a Basketball Wives historian. Okay? I saw you on the show. You and Drea at Orlando, that whole thing, and boom, 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 bow, bow. I saw you confront Evelyn about Jackie, and then Jackie's like, what you doing? You like, Mom, I came down, my weave still intact. Like, everything is good, right? Oh, trust me, Carlos King is a fan of Basketball Wives. It's the greatest show on VH1, in my opinion. So, we saw the top of the season. We see your mom be, a doting grandmother in the sense of like, having fun with you guys. The one thing that I still do not understand, and again, as a producer, I know that oftentimes a lot of things aren't shown. Mm-hmm. And I want you to have the ability to address it. What was the moment this season where you felt like things took a turn between you and your mom?
The first scene.
In the apartment?
And that's my point. Like, girl, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you did need the money. Because if you didn't need the money, you just would not have been on here at all. But let's hear what she got to say. From the first scene, everything went wrong. That's what Jackie started playing in her face.
Now, put your producer hat on.
Okay.
Follow me here. Now, everybody is saying from the first scene that she came in, you act like you was on 10. You were so disrespectful. Understand something. My mom met my son when he was 7 months old. When she comes in the door and I say, oh, he got to warm up. That's me for real, as a mama bear. I'm not going to put him in.
Oh, my God. Chantel playing in all our face. Most of all, she playing in Carlos' face because Carlos was able to sit there with a straight face and listening to that.
Your arms for the sake of these cameras and have him on here howling and carrying on. I want him to be comfortable. I set out when I signed up to do this show to really establish the real in reality TV. I understand that people have grown accustomed to seeing these women get on here and sit down and fight and argue and throw drinks and go to dinner and talk about the same thing. And that wasn't what I signed up for. I'm going to be my real.
Didn't I just say at the beginning that that's what reality stars, contestants, I don't know, whatever they call participants, whatever they are called. But that is the biggest mistake you make is thinking you're going to come onto a show that's been running 12 seasons before you entered, ma'am, first of all. And then somehow you're going to come and bring and change the game. You're going to come and bring the real in reality. Girl, that show been on 12 seasons. They don't need you to bring a damn thing. In case you need somebody to let you know. Shawnee, call your girl up. Because now I see where Jackie get it from. Or now I see like what the problem is. Because y'all both the same. That's what it is. Y'all be bumping heads because y'all mirror each other. Because you just as delusional as Jackie. Like you literally talk about, I came to bring the real in reality. On a show that's been on 12 seasons? No, they asked you to be on so they can bring the real in your reality, honey. And that's what they did. Knocked your ass back into reality and reminded you of all that petty bullshit you thought you had got past with your family. That's what they did for you. Who brought the real where? Because it looked like the real just knocked you upside your head, child.
True, authentic self. Whoever likes it, likes it. Whoever doesn't, that's okay too. So you're seeing these little, nuances or whatever in our relationship. This is our real dynamic. And I'm not going to get on here and pretend for anybody. Here you go. Here's grandma. I wasn't going to do that. Why would I do that to this is my real son.
Because it's too much like right for that to be okay for everybody else. Why does all of the public need to know that your son just met your mother when he was 7 months? Clearly, that was your decision. But why is that important for all of these people who don't freaking matter to know that? That's the point. That's why clearly your intent was to embarrass your mother. From the very first scene, you set out to make sure she understood what the boundaries was. Don't act like this. Don't, girl, it wouldn't have been nothing for you there. If the baby cried, the baby cried. That's what babies do. They freaking cry.
It's not no prop, baby.
And how old was your son at the time of that scene?
I think 9 months postpartum. So he was like 9-10 months.
So
right in there.
So your mother met your son for the first time.
7 months.
She's gonna make sure we understand that. We have to make sure we understand that. The first time Jackie never met her husband, and the first time she met her grandson, he was 7 months. She is proud of that. She is a shitty ass daughter. That's it.
Second time she was around.
That was maybe the third, right within there. I think that she had because obviously I had been in LA in that apartment well before we started filming, right? Like a week or two or whatever. She had seen him on different occasions, but not. My mom is not picking up my son, taking him to the park. This is not one of those sort of situations. You can come over and see him. You can come and visit him. Absolutely. Like I'm not going to keep you from your grandkids, right? But you also don't.
But you just did, because you didn't make it your business to make sure she knew who her grandson was before he was 7 months old. See, this is icky. This is icky.
Have that sort of typical grandparent relationship with him, right? She may have had that with my daughter because I lived in Sacramento at the time. So for the first 2.5 years of her life, you are able to see her. You are able to have these great experiences as a grandparent. But when it comes to my son, that wasn't the case. So fast forward, she comes in, she sits down, we're having our little, talk, whatever. She says, and I haven't said this publicly. She says, Vanna, I don't mean to pry, but how are things with, and insert my daughter's father's name. She says, how are things with Stacy? And I'm like, I know you fucking did. Now, mind you, leading up to this, we've had multiple conversations that we will not talk about that on this platform. I'm in the thick of a custody battle. I'm going through nobody out of my grandmother's 9 kids. Nobody in our family has ever had any sort of custody, court, anything family-wise. They always figured it out amongst themselves. So
Dysfunctional is the code word for that. Just in case anybody needed to know. This interview is exhausting, y'all. Like, the more she tries to explain, the more I'm just like over it.
here I am in the middle of this very heavy, serious situation. You promise me that you are not going to talk about it. You promise me that you will not bring it up. And if somebody else brings it up, you could just get up and you could just walk away, don't engage. And you get in here in the first scene and you throw me under the bus.
So that's the answer. She threw her mother under the bus because her mother threw her under the bus first. Oh my God.
Now, as a producer, you know, we don't know what's going to be used. At this point, I don't know if they're going to use it. I don't know if this is going to get legs. I don't know if now they're going to take this and say, Brandy, ask her about her daughter's father, or such and such, ask her about the court case. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I know that you and I had multiple conversations leading up to the start of filming. We agreed we would not talk about this. Understand, my daughter has her father. My sister has her father. Mom, you have a child from a previous relationship, just like I do. Do you want me to come in here and sit down and say, so how are things with Tyrone? Have you talked to him lately? What is the drama like? That would have been so messy. That would have been so crazy and tacky on my part as your daughter.
Girl. Where is the where is the meaning? Girl. This is not the same thing. No, that would have been messy. You as her child asking that, because stay in a child's place, even as an adult child. Like, yeah, what are you doing? But what she asking you about sounds like that was regular conversation, because what you just said to us is y'all don't even talk. So she was asking you really what a person would ask if they just catching up with you.
So you can do that to me and I'm just supposed to eat it. Now, you and Dustin both said she's very well versed at this. She knows what she's doing. She knows there are certain things that you just don't, because you never know what's going to be used. So in that moment, that it clicks in my mind and I'm like, here she go. Yet again, you're not protecting me. Yet again, now you're taking me back to my childhood. Now I'm feeling exposed. Now I'm feeling naked. Now I'm feeling like
that's the point. That's the point. You basically said you joined because you wanted to show the growth. I think in that moment you probably should have recanted on your own contract, because what you should have realized is like, damn, I ain't grown at all, because now I'm about to play in the mud with my mama on this television screen
that begged me to come here is going to play in my face. For what reason? If we really get to the nitty-gritty of things, out of everybody on this cast, technically I am the basketball wife. My father played basketball, but he's a coach now. Nobody else on this cast is married to someone that is currently in the league.
That's what she got on here for. Oh my God. I already said that she had low self-esteem. See, before she even reached down into the pit of despair to pull that out. We are so far beyond who are basketball wives on this show. And she is holding on to the fact that in actuality, I am a basketball wife. Oh, including over Jackie, because while my dad did play, he coaches now. So now you're the only basketball wife. So, which goes to prove that's why she came on the show, honey. She came on the show to take her mom down. And that's what, like, one thing about how you catch a person up, I feel like that's why police officers do interrogations. let them keep talking. Let them keep talking. Because if they keep talking, they just gonna talk, they just gonna tell the truth, with them talking. And so that's the thing. Like, you are telling on yourself. Just keep talking, girl. That's why Carlos is a good one, because they do trust him and they just spew, 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 spew. And you just got to be smart enough to catch them, honey. But I didn't call it. I didn't call it. Your ass came on there to expose your mama, just like we thought. You can cover it up this way, but you already said it. You already said it.
That's not me tooting my own horn. If we're talking about the title of this show, that's what it is.
This show been on for 12 seasons, girl. You was like 20 something. Like, you was not anything anybody was thinking of when they came up with the term basketball wives. You look like you are following in your mother's footsteps. Anybody want to talk about that? Yeah, that's probably too close for home.
Had so much meat and bones and things you could have talked about. What is life like with your husband living here and you living there with the kids? And there's so much we could have talked about. Why would you come on here and bring up my daughter's father when you know the dynamic? And you think that I'm not going to feel some sort of way? You know me.
And there she go. That's her basically putting her mother in her place, or attempting to, because again, look like she got the truth knocked upside her head. Like, that's how that ended. But all how we got here was you thinking you was about to confront your mom with your truth.
So I didn't allow that to ruffle my feathers on camera. I gave her a very, diplomatic answer. Just, we're trying to work through this as a family. Hopefully, the judge will approve the relocation, and whatever, as best as I could wrap it up in that moment. While in my mind, I'm spiraling. I'm like, this lady did not just do this. When we wrap filming,
this bitch, that's what she said. Because first of all, she don't even call her mama. So Jackie, if she didn't say this Jackie, then she called her this bitch.
I called my dad, I called my brother, I called my husband. I said, she's on.
She called the dad, the brother, and the husband. And like I said, it's funny to me that she has so much grace for her dad, who is that lady's husband. But you could tell from the moment that she said, I'm going to call my dad, that she tries to play them against each other. So that's strange that she can give her dad all of this grace. And to the extent of where you take things to him that your mom has done, or whatever grievances you have, and somehow he's able to smooth it over with you, but he don't take it to his wife and make it right with the family. But you got so much grace for your dad. That's a misogyny. So the thing with Jackie, with her following Doug around, like, that feels like a misogynistic thing, like a woman who has ideals rooted in misogyny. And when I am using that term, what I mean by that, in a generalized space, is the women who have an affinity for catering to men. Okay. What I mean by that is, like, because there's nothing wrong with catering to a guy, especially if they taking care of if they doing their part, right? But what I mean too is kind of like, oh, yeah, you running all over the place, running behind him, making sure he ain't got to do this, and everywhere he is, you there, and just kind of like, oh, he is the king, and like, it's different than just kind of respecting the man as the head of household. When I'm kind of speaking about this misogynistic, like, idealism, there is something a little deeper than it. And she seems to display that to me in the way that she has a protection for her dad and her brother, and they seem to not have any fault in anything. But yet her mom gets all the smoke and all the fault, and that's the bad part about being, like, in that place, because I think that is probably more normal than anybody really wants to admit. Is how moms end up taking a lot of the brunt of or the fault for things that so the dad participated in too, whether they were there, not there, or whatever that case is. So that's what I'm saying. Like she has this affinity for Doug when he was there all 32 of your years too, while that shit was going on. And while you saying that he comforted you, um, yeah, that's all you needed was some comfort. You didn't need him to help make sure that the circumstances changed. You know, like that was not that was enough for you. So that feels like that she is willing to protect him over protecting her mom, which would say to me, like society does, especially with Black women. We got to carry everything on our back, the whole damn family. Even if you are married, honey, you still got to carry everybody is on your back. The husband don't have no fucking responsibility in how this household and how everybody in this household turn out. It's all your mother's fault. She is the problem.
She's on some bullshit. She's on some bullshit. I don't know why she brought me here. I don't know why she would do that. And collectively, they're all like, what? There's no way she got on camera and said that. They did not believe me. I said, on my children, this is what she just got in here and said.
And I'm sorry before we even finish that, because like this dysfunctional thing is so triggering for me. Because like I said, like even with that, how are you able to call these two people, have that type of conversation, and then what, they go talk to Jackie like you didn't have that conversation with them? So basically, that's why everybody's experience is all over the damn place, because who is talking to who and who's having the same conversations with other people about what the hell is being discussed? Clearly Jackie able to be delusional, and so are you, because the men in your family are going to sit back and let y'all be delusional.
You know you're wrong, which is why you led it with, I don't mean to pry, but you're being messy. You are being so messy right now. For what reason? There was 1,000 things we could have talked about. If you guys sold me on the idea that you're trying to bring back basketball wives, you're trying to bring it back into the fold and talk about the things in the NBA and so on and so forth. Why are we not talking about that? What does my ex and whatever we have going on with my minor daughter have to do with right now, today?
Did you confront your mom after the scene was over?
Absolutely. Are you serious? No, Banna, I did. I said, Mom, so you mean to tell me that we haven't had multiple discussions? Well, I didn't know that. I was just saying it so I could just get it out the way.
Yeah, duh. Like, cause that girl knows, it was certain stuff that y'all were gonna have to say. A question that was going to have to be asked. I'm so annoyed with this. I am so annoyed with her. I'm so annoyed. Like, this is annoying.
Because one thing that, and this is me being real with you, one thing that all of us collectively who watch the show and love your mom's personality on the show is your mother's a great reality star.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So we know that your mother has the ability to bring up stuff or say stuff or do stuff for the entertainment of the show. So in that moment, you felt like you're playing it up for the cameras.
You're playing it up for the cameras with me, your blood daughter, who we're supposed to be. This storyline is that we are rebuilding and I'm living in the same building. You're able to, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
no, I do.
That is the plan. And then you come in here.
But didn't she just tell us that wasn't the truth? Carlos, baby, honey. Mm-mm-mm. Interviewing people is not for the weak. I like it's so funny that that's something I think I would want to do, but I don't think I would be good at it because I feel like I would just tell all over my face that I don't believe you, that I'm looking for you to give me more, or that girl, you are delusional. And you wouldn't feel so comfortable with me after that. So that's a bad thing. But God, this right here is like pulling freaking teeth. This is so painful. Um, it's so painful.
Throw me under the bus like I'm one of your castmates. I don't really understand where you're coming from.
Got it.
But now going forward, you still want my loyalty. You still want me to hold you in this high regard and paint this picture that everything is great between us. I'm not doing that.
All it took was for one little thing, huh? What the first thing, and now she done threw Jackie where like, screw you, I'm done. That's because that's what you was always planning to do. That was the plan. She thought that she would be able to have Jackie under her thumb, and that ain't how that worked.
That's not what you're going to get from me. But even still, even after that, there were still multiple scenes where I tried. I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm just not going to feed into it. I'm just going to, she had a photo shoot. I went and supported her. I didn't come on camera and melt down about that. I didn't say, how dare you do that? I let it die in hopes that they're never going to use this. Like maybe they just won't even pay it no mind and just go on. Right. But because this is my first go round as a cast member, I decided ultimately later on in the season to bring it into the fold and to say, listen, so that there's nothing, nobody can come and put no card down on the table for me. This is what I'm dealing with. I am going through a custody case. I am trying to get approved for relocation. I do have judges and so on and so forth in my life. This is what's happening because I don't know what they're going to use. But I know that you, as the mega incredible reality star that you are, you know the way that this game goes. So to do me like that, I really couldn't stomach it. And I think that that coupled with, and this is also something
I wonder if she feel the way I do about this interview, because I'm like getting nauseous. Like I'm getting nauseous. Like really, I'm about to turn this off, y'all. I can't. I need this to wrap up.
that I've never talked about publicly, and I don't know if she will feel a way about me doing this, but off camera, on the way to Hawaii, Jackie tried to get Brandy to bring some tea about me from a mutual friend that they had. A mutual friend that Jackie and Brandy had came to Brandy and said, I got some tea on Jackie's daughter. Now, the tea was ice cold. He said I was a lesbian. I'm not, but I could go ahead and put that out there. She tried to get Brandy to bring it into the fold. Brandy told her no at the airport. On the boat scene, where you see her sitting there, she tries to get Brandy to do it again. Now, this time it's on camera. And Brandy's yelling at her, and we're like, what is going on? And Brandy's going, no, Jackie, I'm not doing it. No, Jackie, I'm not doing it. After the fact, it's shared with me that, yeah, she wanted me to bring this tea about you to the show. Oh, so you're playing a really dirty game right now. And because you've been doing this so long, you know I'm going to get her to the point of no return. She's going to give this season all she's got because she really don't have no filter and she really don't care about these cameras and she really doesn't. I'm not articulate in that way. Maybe I'm well spoken, but when I'm mad, I'm mad. I'm not finna sit here and play with nobody. Like I get that that's what y'all like to do, but I don't like to do that. I told Brandy that in Vegas. Everybody don't play like that. I know that that's what you guys are used to, but I don't play like that. So maybe this isn't the platform for me. Maybe this isn't the space for me because I'm not about to play with y'all. That's not, listen. Once you guys finally see, as the viewers, me get to Hawaii, now I have you bringing up my daughter's father. I have you trying to bring messy tea via Brandy to this platform. I have,
And yet none of this played out in any scene that could be edited, shown, and added to the season where we could all understand that and follow along with that. Somehow you needed to get your ass knocked the fuck out by your mom on television and then do an interview after to explain that all of this took place. Girl, bye.
Later on in the Hawaii trip, you telling Jennifer that you would have grandparents' rights to my kids. Now, how messy is that of you to say when you know that I'm in court right now?
What is the problem with that? Does anybody want to chime in and help me understand? Like, explain it to me like I'm 5. What does her mother mentioning she got rights to grandparents or grandparents' rights? What they got to do with her being in custody with her daughter's father?
All of these things are coming at me. And I'm still sitting here trying to take it like, do not take it there with this lady. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. Like, I made a promise to myself, to my husband, to my children, to my father before I came on this show. I'm not going to get on here and show my ass. I'm not going to do it. I've watched you do it.
Now that is funny. Did she make a promise to herself that she wasn't gonna show her ass, honey? Because she showed her ass from the first scene. Baby, you soon as the red light came on, she was like, y'all ready? That was the funniest shit she said all day.
Season after season. I don't want to go along with that narrative. I don't want people to say, oh, the apple don't fall far from the tree and everything that they've been saying about me now. I never wanted this.
Well, here we
not
are.
gonna let nobody play in my face. So if that means that this is what I have to wear and y'all don't understand where I'm coming from, that's okay.
Get that
that's
scarlet
okay,
letter,
because
honey,
I know
'cause
what
it's yours.
led up to this point. And the cast members and castmates and producers and so they all saw it in real time. So if you want to come out now at this point and
we don't believe you,
offer Jackie an apology because of the way that this fight was relayed, I understand it and I respect it. But to say that y'all didn't see in real time what she was doing to me on
we don't
and
believe
off camera,
you. We don't believe you, Chantel. We don't believe you. That's what's happening. We don't believe you.
So it sounds to me, again, going back to the dynamic between you and your mom, it sounded to me like you said earlier, the little girl resurfaced again when your mother caught you off guard by bringing us something on camera that you two talked about not bringing.
The first scene. The first scene. She turned down coming onto the show, okay, multiple times. She turned it down multiple times after Jackie begged her to come on, okay? She finally decided she would come and she would be a part of the cast because she thought it would be nice to show growth. We're not going to talk about all of this family drama that was in the past. We have grown. And from the first scene, baby, it was downhill. She just said it out her mouth. Jackie didn't even know it was downhill. She knew it was downhill.
Absolutely.
And then obviously
Jackie was playing reality TV. Chantel was playing real life on reality TV. That's what had happened.
Your mother allegedly hearing something, told Brandy to bring it up. Brandy said no. Brandy tells you. Is that when you started to unravel and the loyalty was gone? Because is that when you started to say, well, Brandy, Jackie said this about you?
Well, what people don't understand, and they always say, well, why didn't you protect her when Brittany was going in on her? I'm not protecting nobody that's not protecting me. This whole time that we're here in Vegas, you're on the phone with me when we're.
I don't know who the hell asked her that question because by the time Brittany was talking about deadbeat mom, nobody was expecting Chantel to speak up for Jackie. Okay, everybody was on the same page with why Britney was able to get away with that. That's why she did it.
For not filming. I wasn't staying at the house. I got a house separate from them so that I could be with my kids. I brought them to Vegas. You're on the phone with me between these scenes. Yeah, because Brandy did.
And see, that's her thing. I brought them to Vegas. Like, that's what I'm saying. She's judged her mother based on a whole set of circumstances that she has, that the variables are the same as her mother, but because she's making these different decisions, she's deemed herself better than her mother. That's her problem. So you did come with the intent to expose your mother, or to try to handle your mother. But I think what she doesn't want to admit, because the apple don't fall too far from the tree. And what's wrong with that? That's like, that's the other thing. And what is wrong with that? You should be glad that the apple don't fall too far from the tree, because you know, like, yeah, know a person for their work. Who else you gonna know better than Jackie? Yourself, because you act the same as her.
Brandy, that you're talking down on her no matter what you said. I don't even have to repeat what you said, right? But then you get on camera and you're grabbing Brandy by the hand. Sis, I know you've been dealing with a lot, and I know. Now that shit is rubbing me the wrong way. You're playing a very dirty game. If you don't want to get in between it, then don't get in between it. There's 8 other women here that you could talk to, but you want to sit here and buddy up to Brandy when you already know I feel some sort of way about this person. Why? Because if the roles was reversed and I did that, if this was last season when Evelyn called you whatever she called you and brought up whatever she brought, and I was doing that with her, you would feel some sort of way. But I'm behind the scenes telling you, yeah, that's real tacky of her, and I just can't. You're playing a very messy game. And maybe you weren't prepared for somebody that really knows you to come on here and work alongside of you. And maybe when you offered me or you know, brought this opportunity to my door, you weren't prepared for
me to throw your ass under the bus
the way that I was coming. But anybody that knows me knows I really do not play like that. I don't play for these cameras. I could honestly care less about I could have been ducked off living on a farm. I wasn't bothering nobody. What did you bring me here for?
And listen, we would have all liked for you to stay there as well, because you ain't did nothing for us either. All you did was, I don't know, put another notch in the devil's plan, because your family is the one dealing with this backlash. And to my knowledge, that's the only one who want to see families destroyed and teared apart. I mean, outside of, I guess, the general public, so we can keep watching it on television. But that's the devil. That would be the devil's work. Seem like that's what you got on this television to do, is do the devil's work. And I guess the devil's work is done, huh? What does it seem like to me?
To do this. So now I've become one of your castmates, and you're willing to throw me under the bus and do me dirty like you're willing to do everybody else. But you want me to.
But she's surprised. You just told us that your mother was your first bully, and somehow you are surprised that that is the tone in which you would enter a show. We all supposed to be like, how dare her? Girl, no, like, you still look like the fool.
Show you loyalty? You want me to stand up for you because you and Brittany got into it? No, I'm actually not going to do that, because respectfully, she's the only one spoke up for me and said anything. Whether I met her
disrespectfully, but go ahead.
10 minutes ago, or I've known her 10 years, that's who spoke up for me. Why are you so mad at her? You're getting defensive because now you see somebody else that it's not just your daughter that's saying this. Now somebody that don't really know neither one of y'all like that is saying, Jackie, something's wrong with this picture. I don't really like what's going on here. And now you want to jump over couches and carry on? But you can sit here with the same person who, now, mind you, to give you a bit of backstory on the Brandy thing, people say that I started poking at her. What they didn't show you guys when we were in that room. And I said this to Ming, I said this to Denise, and whoever, I think maybe Evelyn was in the room. I said, I'm going to ask Brandy personally when we sit down at the dinner table, like, what's tea? Why would you invite Jennifer here when you know her and Evelyn's dynamic? Mm-hmm. Now I get everybody saying, well, why would you get in it? You didn't know. We're filming a TV show. If I don't say nothing, y'all gonna say, oh, you're sitting there quiet as a church mouse. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? You damned if you...
You know me, I get that.
You damned if you do and you damned if you don't.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I'm saying, I said out my mouth, I'm gonna ask Brandy directly. I'm not sitting here being messy with y'all. That's not what I'm doing at all. I think it's crazy that she did that, and I'm gonna ask her directly. Before I had the opportunity to do that, Brandy comes barreling around the corner with all the smoke for everybody in the room. I get it. You feel some sort of way. You feel like we was around the corner talking about you. But as for me, I said I was going to ask you directly. You just didn't give me that opportunity to. So once we all make our way out to the living room, the only person out of everybody that was in the room you have smoke for is me. Because I asked a very logical question. Why did you invite her here? Is this not the same thing that you did last season?
She had all the smoke for you because you brought the smoke for her. Like, you are filming a reality show. So while you're sitting in the room telling them, well, I'm just asking for myself. And I guess in your imagination, that's you keeping it real. Like, oh, I'm not going to talk behind her back. And clearly that's what everybody needs in a reality show. Somebody that'll just ask what everybody else is talking about behind the scenes. So when you ask her that, you brought her the smoke and she returned serve. That's why she had all the smoke for you and nobody else. Because you the bitch that spoke up, stupid.
When you invited Jackie to Brooke's event. So you do have a track record of doing this. And I am asking you what's up. But I didn't go picking with her. And regardless, if in that moment, my mom wants to see that I can hold my own, I can. If this is an audition for you and you just sitting there, she's sitting there with a water bottle full of Tito's like this, watching like everybody else. Okay, you don't have to say nothing. You don't have to insert yourself. You don't got to ask Brandy what her issue is or why she got all this smoke for me and nobody else. Maybe this was my freshman hazing and y'all wanted to see how I would handle it. I don't care what they showed on that episode. I handled myself very well. I get how it was cut and spliced together, but I think that we walked away from there with everybody on the same page that, okay, this bitch ain't go back down. Like, I'm not going to hold you. That was the general consensus. You understand?
Oh, I totally understand. Listen, when I look at Basketball Wives, the reason why it's such an interesting subculture amongst all other reality shows is because to me, it is about this very unique, organizing subculture principle to where we're all in some form or fashion can relate on being associated past or present of athletes.
Yes.
And it is sort of like, I listen, I'll say, I do feel like by proxy of just the show, mm-hmm. right? It's nobody's fault of its own. I think it's just a subculture of Basketball Wives. Newbies get hazed. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is. And I've watched the show since day one. I think that's just the nature of the show.
Yes.
I could see your point being like, everybody like, well, this little bitch can handle her own. Okay, cool. And cheers to the girls' weekend. Like, go ahead, bitch.
Okay.
Chantel,
so now we work our way through now, mind you, we're in Vegas for several days. Over the course of the breakfast the next morning, Brandy's making little comments.
All right, y'all. I'm done with this. I can't even listen to anymore. Because we're not getting anywhere. And for me, that's kind of the issue that I generally take with reality stars. When something happens and now they're scrambling to tell their side of the story. And the misconception that there is a side, and then they have to go through this explanation of, well, you didn't see everything. And I mean, I think we all get it. Like, we've all been watching reality TV long enough, to know that we're not seeing everything that's being recorded or filmed, and vice versa. So I don't think that's our problem at all. You know, I think that is a problem that lies with you. And then with this explanation of how you came on the show, the explanation of your mom basically threw you under the bus after the first scene, like all of this for me is not, it's not leading up to any type of accountability. It is very much doing a lot of blaming. It's very much doing a lot of excusing. And one thing about it, I am not a person for excuses. I actually get very annoyed at excuses, because I think that there's a reason why people do everything they do. It's a reason why I'm sitting up here on this doggone computer breathing right now, talking to you about this. Like, there is a reason for it. And I don't have to go out my way to explain that to anybody. So that's why it's like explanations don't mean anything. If there is something that you behaved in, that you did and you wasn't supposed to, or you didn't mean it, then get to it and say that. But all of the whys and the how we got here. Good morning, cousin crew. Hey, Miss Dogan. We was listening to Chantel's interview, girl, and it is exhausting. Since you here with me, maybe I will try to stomach through the rest of it, because I was about to end this. It is exhausting, girl. And she has taken zero accountability. Again, it's just really a long video of her having a drawn out explanation for why she thought it was okay to come for her mom. I would love to know how she felt about being knocked upside her head on national television, because that is what's never going anywhere. And nobody's going to look for this Carlos King interview to figure out why. All we do know is you got knocked the hell out. Let me stop. I shouldn't do her like that. But like I said, it's just a long, lengthy explanation that's leading to nothing. It's not leading to any accountability. It's not. And then I get ill when I see her when it comes time to talk about Doug, and her whole demeanor changes. And listen, I'm kind of like, it's fine. Like, she's a girl. I would expect her to have an affinity for her dad, just to be a daddy's girl. And period, right? End, hard stop. Don't even get involved with all of this other stuff she's talking about with her issues with her mom. But it is just kind of annoying, that she can have so much grace, for these men, and have no grace for her mother, as another woman. And then, as you know, just she compared herself to Jackie. So basically, she thinks she's better than Jackie. And maybe that's the dynamic that they've had, that the reason why their relationship is what it is, because maybe it's something that started with Jackie and now she just meets it, right? And performs at it. And so now they're in some weird competition with each other. She is convinced that she is the ultimate basketball wife. Clearly that's what they used to get her to sign the contract. Even though the show has been on 12 years, and at this point, none of us, I mean, I don't even know the last time an actual basketball wife had been on the cast. So for you to come on this season, it really didn't make a difference one way or the other, not to the audience, because the audience had been watching anyway. So again, I think that her reason was to expose Jackie. I think it, or maybe expose is not the right word, but it was definitely to hold Jackie to some sort of standard. You say, but do you think Jackie and yeah, I don't. But like I said, I think it's hard to say if that could be true or not. And that's just because we don't know the dynamics of whatever was happening in the house while they were coming up. For some reason, Chantel feels like she's in competition with her mother. I don't know if that's because Jackie did, like projected that to her. She certainly feels like she's in competition with her mother. And that probably is why she has the affection and affinity she has for Doug, because everything is her mother's fault. But like at the beginning, Carlos didn't ask a lot of questions because he's just letting her talk. But same with the grandmother. She talked about her affection for her grandmother, and I thought how odd that you could have such a contentious relationship with your mom, have this close relationship with your grandmother, who is your mother's mother. Like, that would be strange to me. That I wouldn't have any question about why their relationship isn't a mirror to what I have with my grandmother, considering that that's your mother's mother. And so I would be inclined to think that maybe some of the dynamics she shared with her mother maybe had been shared between Jackie and her mother. And because you're too busy talking about Chantel's too busy blaming Jackie about everything she didn't do, and giving her no grace at all, giving it out to everybody else, that you're not even holding a place of accountability for your mom to have experienced something similar to what you feel you've experienced, basically. And I think that that's not like, I don't feel like that's a healing place. I don't feel like that's a growth place. I don't think that type of ideology comes from a growing place or from a healed place. I think that when you've gone through something, if you've healed through it and you have like fully healed, like that, you would be able to see the situations in other places, right? Like, so you would be able to analyze another relationship that seems strained, or maybe even analyze why you might flock or hold to something that maybe you shouldn't. So I think that Doug should have some form of accountability. It's weird to me that she has none for him. Now, what she said is like, oh, well, he's quick to apologize. He takes accountability and that. I understand that. But what I don't understand, like how just 5 minutes ago, she explained after that scene, you call your brother, you call your dad, you explain to them what happens. They just have a conversation with you like, oh, that's crazy. And nothing else. Again, but you have a lot of affection and affinity for this guy who will listen to you cry your eyes out, I guess, give you whatever comfort you need at the time, but do nothing about making sure it doesn't happen again. I'm confused about that. I'm confused about that. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's finish. Let's see where I can't even remember where she was at, because I was just like, oh my God, like, take me out of my misery.
Of the breakfast the next morning, Brandy's making little comments. You see, I'm laughing. I'm not really feeding into it because I'm not even going to take it there, because I can already see. Now I know that behind the scenes, Brandy has already kind of established, Chantel, no, I'm just playing, right? She know I'm not for real, right? No, I don't know that you're not playing. I think that you're dead serious. And now every time I see you, I have a problem. Like, that's how I'm feeling in that moment. Obviously, later on throughout the season, I was able to talk to Brandy and kind of get a better understanding of her. And we just acknowledge, you're a May Gemini, I'm a June Gemini, and we just ain't, it's just oil and water. You get what I'm saying? But
May Geminis are different than June Geminis. I'm a June Gemini, and May Geminis are different. I have to admit that. What'd you say? So Doug is like, yeah, Yeah, he does no wrong. Yeah. She understands him, but she has nothing for her mom. Nothing.
Um, I think that the picture that was painted, and I can understand how viewers took this from the scenes, is that I'm telling my mom, don't say anything on my behalf, just be quiet. That actually isn't what I said. I said I can handle myself. No, like I can take care of this. It's not a problem. Like you don't even got to worry about it. You don't even, if you don't want to do it on your own, you don't.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Oh my God, is she like 12? Like this girl. Oh my gosh, she act like a little kid.
Don't have to ask me for permission, right? You see her coming for me for no apparent reason. And I think where the lines get blurred is that people are saying, well, you put boundaries in place. I put boundaries in place for things like her not telling my personal business. I put boundaries in place.
Like, that's the thing. How is anybody supposed to know? Like, if you tell her not to do one thing, she don't know when you go. So the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Clearly, Chantel is in competition with Jackie because you're not giving her all the information she needs to not piss you off, basically.
Is for her not showing up to my apartment all hours of the day and night, coming in like those are the boundaries I'm speaking of.
Look, enjoy your time in Vegas and thanks for checking in with us, girl.
Has nothing to do with this lady that you've known for all of these years keep coming for me for no apparent reason. You're sitting within arm's reach of this lady, you sharing this bread basket, like you are sending me. You are infuriating me at this point. Because why are you just got off the phone calling? If you don't want to involve yourself, don't involve yourself. But don't sit here and fake
And
kiss
see,
Brandy's
like
ass on
that,
this
if
camera
she made
and
it
make me
her
look.
business to expose Jackie having something to say behind Brandy's back, like that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense, Chantel. It makes no sense. Miss Duggan said, I know it's hot in Vegas. I know, right? And it's a little rainy out here where I'm at, so that's good too if it is hot. Where you staying at, word on the curb? Where you staying? Are you at the pool or are you in the room? What you got planned while you in Vegas? Tell the internet cousins what you're doing.
Crazy. If this is how you feel about Brandy, just hold that. There's 8 other women here, Ming, Ty, Denise, Brittany, Evelyn, Shawnee, that you could talk to, pick with, converse with, etc. Why are you going for the person that you know I feel some sort of way about, and that according to you off camera, you feel some sort of way about? But I look crazy? No, we're not. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So then to get to the lounge where she eventually jumps over the couch, as soon as I walked into the scene, she grabbed Brandy's hand. She said, sis, I wanted to bring us all here tonight because, I know that you've been going through a lot. That, if you see my face,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you lying. Like, I get that this is a show. I get you've been doing this for so long and everything. But if this is how you were going to play, why did you call me here? You could have done this with any of the other girls. Why would you bring me here knowing that our relationship is not the best already? Did you think I was going to feed into it? Did you think that I had changed overnight and that I had become someone that was going to play right along with you? You know I'm not. So,
And that's why I'm confused, because what is it that you thought was going to happen? That's what I'm saying. She is feeling like you are in competition with your mother because you know all these things. Like, you telling us this stuff like we the problem. You had all of this information and you still signed on. So What did you expect? Did you automatically expect your mother to all of a sudden turn into somebody she had not been your whole 32 years? I'm confused. She's sitting up here talking to us like we crazy. Like, no, you still seem delusional, girl, because why did you sign up? Why are you here? That's what we're trying to get to. Why are you here? He don't have no words, but you know, Carlos gonna sympathize with everybody that sit on his couch. So he done already made her feel so comfortable by comparing his flight with his dad to what she had to say about how she felt being raised by her mother. So you know, he what do Kim Pye like to use the phrase twerking on the fence? That's what Carlos does. He twerks on the fence, honey. He can't make a decision about whose side he on one way or the other because he understands them both. So, okay, word on the curb is enjoying Park MGM for family reunion. Okay, black folk shit. That's what she said. Listen, it ain't that black folk shit because I am glad the family got to Las Vegas. All right, because in my black folk family, honey, somebody try to put together a family reunion. The people in the same damn city will tell you that they can't make it. I'm trying to tell you, honey, they ain't got to do nothing but drive 45 minutes and they'll be talking about what they can't do. So I'm glad that y'all made it to Vegas for the family function. Okay, have a good time. Tell everybody that's what we're here for. Get drunk and have fun. Ain't no problems. Okay, we ain't having no problems. Say, well, a family reunion sounds like fun. Yes, it do. She said, and yes, it is hot as hell. Say, get you some smoke. Get you some 420 word on the curb. Yeah, you know it's legal out there. And you should go by the dispensary because I heard like you can get it different kind of ways, not just like to smoke and edibles, but maybe like bath bombs, like different kind of stuff. So go by and check it out. I ain't been by yet, but that'll be what I'll do the next time I get to Vegas. I'll be getting to a dispensary to check some out myself.
It was challenging for you to I now have a greater understanding of this. On one end, your mother in real life, you know her.
Yes.
And you know the actions, the mannerism, and all that of your mom, plus the conversations you guys are having on camera. And then once the cameras are on, you're seeing a very different person, courtesy of what you're saying to me off camera isn't matching things on camera. And because you're like, I'm here to be my authentic self, you're leaving there confused and you just don't know how to navigate through this. And then all of this.
So Brandy was right to tell her to stay in a child's place there. Is that what we get to? Because that's after all of this whole interview, that's what I got to. That is really the conclusion that I'm at, is that Brandy was right to say, stay in a child's place. You didn't have no business on this show. You didn't have no business doing none of this stuff that these grown-ups in here is doing. Yeah, he was trying to get an understanding, honey. You know, he gonna do it. He gonna figure it out.
Obviously has been a built up from the first scene.
Absolutely.
Bringing up your estranged relationship with your daughter's father, and then everything just sort of.
Word on the curb, you called it. You hit the nail on the head. And even when he posted that he was doing this interview yesterday, a lot of people in the comments was like, I'm not watching, like, you know, basically kind of because they just like, you wrong, like, so we're not gonna listen to it. I'm like, let's just hear what she got to say. And of course, because I watched the season, I expected her to double down. I'll say this, the way that she's speaking in this interview is much different than I expected. I really did expect her to have a different tone to what she's saying. However, when we boil that right back to it, it boils all the way to the same. You really are just really trying to validate what your behavior was on this television screen. And even to right now, you ain't said anything that validates that. Like at all costs, the one thing that you said would validate the fact that you should not have been on this platform at all. So why the fact that you are here says that you had a different agenda. And like I said, it had to be that you jealous, like you are in competition with your mother. Now I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if she feels like Jackie is the one that like created this space for them to be competing with each other. Because competing with somebody that's damn near 60 is mind-boggling to me. Because never. Not for me, never. Not you 20 years, older than me. Like there is no competition. Okay. So yeah, that's crazy. But again, the explanations, you knew y'all wasn't close. You knew y'all wasn't. So, and like he said, like, oh well, you're Jackie in real life, and like Jackie the persona, like, yeah. And she's still sitting up here trying to convince us that she got on this television and she wanted her mother to be real Jackie. You don't even know who real Jackie is. That's why she had to clock you upside your head.
Like piled up. And you probably felt like you were in the Twilight Zone.
I was spiraling. Now, mind you, I'm 9 months postpartum at this point. I'm going through postpartum depression. I had so much on me, and that does in no way excuse my behavior. But I'm hoping that this interview will help people better understand where my mindset was. It didn't just happen overnight. We're filming over the course of several months.
Honey, that shit didn't just happen overnight. That had already happened in your mind. Like that. That had already happened in your mind, which is why it was able to take place on that television.
Else. And at every turn, you're taking the opportunity to play in my face. And never once off camera did you come to me and just say, you know what, I was dead wrong. Like, I apologize. I'm going to do better going forward. Never, not once.
Did she ever tell you, like, girl, that's some TV shit?
No. Brandy, the only one that told me that. So.
Oh, so Brandy gets a gold star. She also told you to stay in a child's place. That's probably the explanation to this just TV shit. Like, that's why you needed to stay in a child's place, because you don't understand. And now we got to take you to the side and break down the shit to you that you were supposed to already know.
It was very hard for me to accept. And I think that when I finally get to Hawaii and I'm coming in on 10 and I'm asking her, did you call me impressionable? That came from Vegas. Mm-hmm. The whole cast and production, everybody else is staying in the same house. When these cameras are not rolling, there are a lot of conversations that happen off camera. You guys are.
Like, she literally think we didn't understand that that's where that came from and why you went to her and called her impressionable. Like, stop it, Chantel. Stop it. I'm sick of her. I am sick of her. I want to jump through the TV and knock her out. Oh my God. Y'all, she did this interview and she thought that she wanted people to sympathize more with her. I'm leaving this interview and I sympathize more with Jackie, because the restraint that it took for Jackie to not literally choke you out, like, for real. You on this TV screen playing? Like, you talk about she playing and you playing. None. No accountability at all. At all. She is taking none. And that's like, it's really, like you said, there is nothing you can say, right? It's like, you try, and when she got back in the room, she did kind of make it sound like Jackie swung on her first, and that there was this space the way you defending, yourself, I guess. But again, you already had that in your mind that that's what you wanted to do, because if you didn't, you would have continued to stay away from Basketball Wives. I feel like Chantel has probably had more opportunity than not to be on Basketball Wives. And the fact that we are seeing her this season, and this is what took place on this season, it speaks volumes to the fact that she had an agenda. She had an agenda. And she stuck to the agenda. Like, I don't know. Like I said, maybe she thought Jackie was gonna coddle and play to her, but I'm confused why she would think that, because nobody would think that. Like, none of us thought that that was gonna happen. Interesting enough that everybody you're the only damn fool that know the show exists, know what y'all issues are in public, and somehow thought that none of this would collide when you got on TV. Everybody else kind of felt we was all waiting for it. When we knew you would come, we knew that this shit was going straight to hell. How is it that you got all the information, but you didn't know? No, she ain't said that just yet. I guess she's still explaining all the way up to it. We ain't even got to the hit yet, girl. We ain't even got there yet. She's still talking about Brandy. Girl, that's why I said this is really exhausting, like, getting through this.
All conjoined in here in this living room talking about these scenarios, and you're telling this group of women who don't know me and these producers, well, yeah, because Shani, she's very impressionable, and so you just gotta, kind of just keep an eye out, basically. What? Hold on. Out of all of your kids, you know that I'm the least impressionable. You're saying things that you know are going to send me off. And if that was you wearing your producer hat and hoping to get good TV, here we are.
When your mom kept leaving scene by scene by scene by scene,
Don't piss me off.
No, I know. Again, I'm asking because, again, even on my recap, and I'm glad you watched it, I kept saying I'm only going to base this recap off of what I saw, because the beauty of my podcast is I am a producer, and I know that you can't show everything. So I kept saying,
Chantel, I mean, she's a pretty girl. She just childish as fuck.
What I'm seeing with Jackie is every time the conversation is about her daughter, she walks up to leave. Was that just to play the audience, you think, or
1000%? And that's why when I released my statement, I said this was a masterclass in narcissism. You are dealing with someone who has been doing this for the past decade. She is very good at her job. That's why.
But yet she got you to get on this show and act an ass. But we the ones being blinded.
So many people love her. I don't take that away from her. You are a mega reality star in every shape and fashion. You are, when you think of Basketball Wives, you think of Jackie Christie.
And there we go. With that, there's the competition. Because she just said it earlier in the interview, maybe about 15 minutes prior to this, where she says, I'm the only basketball wife, technically. Yeah, my dad used to play, but now he coaches. See, like that, for that to even be on your mind, like Basketball Wives has been on for 12 seasons. When Basketball Wives was created, Chantel Christie was not a part of the equation, right? Because you were a daughter to an NBA star, not even close to a wife, girlfriend, or anything other. So when she said that, like my antenna went up, like, oh, okay. So everything you doing is to outdo your mother, which for me, that means that you're competing with her. And why? I don't have any idea. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe she feels, maybe it's something that's involuntary that she's showing up for, that's been created in this dynamic, right? Because that's competition. You're sitting up literally explaining to us about who your mother was and who she was prior to any of this being filmed this season. So you full well knew that. And now you want us all to be understanding about why she clocked you on the screen. Well, you want us to understand why you provoked her to clock you on the, and I think we all do get it. We just not on your side about it. I think we all do get it. We just not on your side about it. And I don't know, outside of Brittany, like, I don't know who is on her side. We know Jackie went from hustler to housewife. Did she? I don't know. I know that's what Evelyn said. I never really kind of bought into that, but I don't know. Maybe. What we do know is Jackie had and always was a basketball wife. And there wasn't no confusion about it. But like I said, with her comparing where she is, the fact that she has a husband that plays basketball, the fact that she has a daughter that has a different dad, the fact that now she has the son with her husband, she has paralleled her life to her mother's life. Again, why? I have no idea. And because the fact that you have disdain for what your mother created, it's odd that you would have a life that seemed to mirror it. And then you still have no grace about it. You know, I'm over here preaching, girl. You say, well, talking to your dad was Takari dad. Okay. I mean, and here's the thing. And she was probably young or whatever. Like, in a way, it's understandable about Takari dad and whatever happened with that. But she got with Doug and she wanted to make sure Doug didn't step out on her. And Doug didn't seem to have a problem with that. So what I feel that we don't maybe ask or look into enough is, was that a requirement that Doug had? Meaning, did he require her to be where he was? I'm not to say, like, I know it was her idea about the women interviewers and like the locker room. I think some of that stuff she did and took very extreme. But I'm just saying, did Doug because he didn't seem to have a problem with it, clearly, because it continued to go on like for all of their life. So he didn't say, I don't like this. You need to be home with our kids. And yet that go back to Chantel, yet her dad can't do no wrong, can't do no harm. He's the perfect guy.
I will never take that away from her. But because you have been doing this long enough, I know that you know what you're doing. On top of the fact, you're taking a page out of my book. In the previous seasons that I haven't been on, and you're calling me after the fact, I'm giving you this advice. Mom, if you just...
Did y'all clock it? You taking a page out of my book. How did you take a page out of her book on a platform she created without you? See what I'm saying?
Get up and walk away from there. They'll just be sitting there screaming in an empty room. Just get up and walk away from the table. And now you're going to wait till I get on here and use my advice against me? Oh, Carlos, I was spiraling. I'm not even going to hold you. Watching that back, I'm like, girl, you was melting down. I was just losing it because I just couldn't believe, like, you really going to get on here and play. And out of all of the years, you never get up and walk away. Everybody knows you are willing to engage. You're going to throw French fries, drinks, whatever. You're going to sit here and do this back and forth all day. But now that you know, wait a minute, I got her right where I want her. She's so mad. She ain't going to be able to articulate herself. She's going to be sitting here I'm just going to get up and walk out.
I took that as, I'm not going to give the audience a moment between me and my daughter.
Okay. That's not what
so
happened.
so you're saying that was because that's how we all took it. We all took it that she is walking away from the audience seeing a dispute.
That's how I agree with Carlos with that. That's how we all took it. It's the shame that Chantel couldn't have taken it that way too, which is why you got your ass knocked out.
Between mother and daughter. That's how we took it.
If in your heart you really do believe that, why do you keep coming back to film if you know that I'm going to be here and you know that this is going to be the topic? If you really felt like I'm not engaging in this in any way, shape, fashion, or form, I'm not going to discuss me and my child and so on and so forth, why do you continue to engage? Why do you continue to come and show up? Never once did you say, if Shani's going to be there, I'm not going to be there. If this is going to be the topic of discussion, I'm not filming. You can pull your trump card. You can be that one. You have earned that position on this show to be able to call the shots and kind of say how you want things to go. Now, you may not be executive producer, but
honey, Chantel for sure. Listen, maybe that's why she mad at Jackie, because she was on the short bus and Jackie didn't even know it. That's why she mad. Because this sounds like short bus activity. Right, because she was there first. Right. But that go back to what I'm saying, word, right? That's what I said. Clearly you in competition with your mother because you're sitting up on a platform that belongs to her. And now you're trying to talk about what she's done wrong on it, how she's taking advantage of it. Now you trying to produce her? I'm confused, Chantel. I'm confused.
Able to call the shots and kind of say how you want things to go. Now, you may not be executive producer, but you are Jackie Christie. You showing up just like I'm showing up. But I'm the one that looks crazy because you get me right to that point where I start to ask the very logical questions, and you know where I'm going with this. Did you call me impressionable? When we were in Vegas, was you talking about Brandy? She knows I'm a very logical person. I'm going to ask, and I know everybody was.
But that's like, you're not logical, stupid. Like, I don't even like calling people stupid, but this just really does apply. You're not logical. Why do you think it's logical to ask somebody a realistic question on a television show that you know they can cut it out? Silly. Like, you're not the brightest crayon in the box. And that's why your mama kept walking away. Your mother was giving you scenes, but this is what you was doing with the scenes, honey. Coming up smelling like shit instead of roses.
Eating me up because I used rhetorical wrong. I did. I'm not gonna hold you. I did. I definitely did. Watching it back, I said, well, I didn't go to college. So y'all got that. Y'all ate me up. Okay, fair enough. But I'm sorry. I need to do better next time. But
it's a rhetorical question, yes or no. And that's not the way. Rhetorical is you don't need to go to college to know it. But rhetorical is like an obvious answer, right? Like a question you didn't like. Oh, well, we asked for Las Vegas. Oh, I bet it's hot out. Like rhetorical. That's a rhetorical question. Of course, it's hot. It's Vegas, right? And to be honest, even though I know the temperatures go down to some like maybe 50 degrees, I ain't never heard nobody tell me it was cold. I've never heard the word cold and Vegas used in the same sentence or description. So I think the right terminology when she meant like to answer yes or no, what's the word? There is a word that you would say, and it's kind of like, it's just straightforward. But anyway, she did use that wrong.
The point is that because you know that you've got me to this point of like, she knows me in a lot of ways, right? You know that I'm not going to be able to properly articulate myself because now I'm mad. Now I'm not worried about story. I'm not worried about buttoning this up. I'm not worried about explaining it to the viewers. Now I'm just looking at you, mother to daughter, like, are you serious right now?
I now have a greater understanding of all of this. I really, I don't know why all of a sudden this hit me too, which is strange, but it just has. Your mother, your birth mom, this is your mother, where you two have had a very complicated relationship. You're now on a show where your mother, as you have admitted, your mother is the legendary, one of the greatest reality stars of all time, because
Yes.
to be a reality star icon, there is a certain level of experience where you're able to know cameras on, move a certain way. And I now understand that I have no idea what it would feel like if a daughter comes on her mother's platform
Right.
that she has excelled at from day one.
Right.
And you're in, yes, I played here and there, other seasons, we did that, boom, boom, boom. But this is a full-time job. You asked me to do it. I'm trying to like have a real moment with you. And I now understand why you felt like at that time I'm being played. And when your mother is sitting down and she's like trying to talk to you, I now understand that for you, right or wrong, I'm not here judging you or your mom,
Right.
but I now understand. As you're sitting down wanting to have a real conversation with
Right.
your mother getting
Play.
up was a way in your mind at that time of you're playing in my face.
1000%.
And you know this is going to get me to react.
And you know that this is going to send me off. You are literally, and the thing is that she didn't get up and walk away one time. This was multiple times,
Yeah.
repeatedly in Hawaii. Now, off camera and on camera, all of the castmates are saying the same thing. That's messed up. As a mother, I wouldn't do that. Before any fight happened, you guys are acknowledging in real time what is wrong with this. That you don't want to be held accountable, or you don't want to have real conversations, so you're choosing to get up and walk away. Before I got to the point of speaking to her so disrespectfully on that last night in Hawaii, I was actually very calm. I know it may not translate that way on camera. It may be sliced different. I approach these conversations very calmly. I started asking very logical questions because I'm just trying to understand, why are you doing this? You have all of these women sitting here at this table that you could play this game with. Why are you doing this with me? And do you understand how far this can really go? Maybe in her mind, she thought, this is best case scenario. Me and my daughter can go back and forth. We can have our little spat, and it's never going to go further than that. Not at 32. Not as a wife and a mother of my own.
But also not with, and I'm gonna say this, also not with the built up, unhealed aggression that you have. And I think that's the missing piece of
I'm so glad he named it and called it unhealed, because for her to say she thought that she was coming on that show to show growth, the growth in their relationship, I thought, oh, and the very first scene y'all filmed is when you felt betrayed. That let you know from day one, like y'all hadn't healed at all. You maybe just got past some things, but baby, y'all didn't heal a damn thing. Ms. Duggan said there was a cold front last year in Vegas. Say Sherelle's World said she had never experienced it that cold before. That's the first time I ever heard somebody say cold in Vegas in the same sentence. Right now, I was today years old. What's interesting is I wonder what the temperature was for a person to say cold. Because when you're from the Midwest, baby, cold is cold. Okay. We talking 20, 10, sometimes single digit degrees, honey. You don't know cold like we know cold.
everything. But I want, and again, I'm not here to defend you to defend your mom. I'm here to have a real conversation and really extract what you're giving to me, because I now see things very differently. I now understand, as an unhealed woman,
yes,
who's on a show with your mother,
yes,
who is the face of that show to me,
yes,
who plays that game perfectly.
flawlessly.
Your mother's a legend in this
chef's
game.
kiss.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's amazing.
absolutely.
I now understand how an unhealed daughter
Mhm.
can recognize that and feel confused. And now, as we're in Hawaii and you guys are in your mother's hotel room, when you walked into that room, Chantel, what was your sole intention that you wanted to get out of that conversation with your mother?
I didn't go in there really with any intention. You have to understand that the confrontation that happened in the hotel room came right after us sitting down on the terrace, and I had on a black suit, and she walked away and said, you know, when the teacher is ready or whatever, the student will appear. Whatever it is that she said, I know she was reading that before she walked in that scene, because she wanted to come across very poised and like in exactly how she came across. You understand what I'm saying? I know that this was prepared in her mind. So when I went up to the room, I'm like, girl, what you got for me today? Like, I'm already mentally checked out in my mind because you're playing. You called me up here to literally play into whatever narrative it is that you want these viewers to go with and send me on my way. We're not going to get to any real resolution here. We're not going to get to the nitty gritty of how we got to that point this season. So when she's asking me, well, baby, what is it? And everything that you and Dustin were saying, you're not asking me because you really want to know. You know what happened. You were here. I'm not talking about my childhood. I'm talking about right now on this season today. Well, we weren't cool before this. I don't know. You tell me, were we cool before this? Because if we were so cool, why would you do that to me? It's not adding up. And now
the problem is that you still didn't say a damn thing.
I am spiraling. Now I do feel crazy. Now I do feel all of these things because what? No. Mm-mm.
So when she said get up and leave, and that's a much better exit.
Again, you're in your producer role. You don't care that I'm your daughter. You don't care that I'm really for real upset in real life. You don't care all of the things that you've done to me leading up to this. Now you're sitting here and you're producing this scene. That's a much better exit. Okay, sweetie. Like, yeah, I am saying things to her, but do you not realize that she's saying things back? Like Ming said out of her own mouth, Jackie cannot be bullied. I was not bullying her. I treated her in a way that watching it as a daughter, I shouldn't, correct? I understand that. But this person is not innocent. She's not sitting here like this meek mother that's like.
But that's the problem. When you get caught up trying to prove that this person did this, or let me expose what she did, like, that's the reason why you look crazy. That's the reason why you look crazy. All things done in the dark come to the light. All you got to do is sit and wait, girl. Stoop. Silly. Let me use that word better. I don't know why let me pray that up out of me, because that's not a word. I really don't like it. And I hate when somebody specifically uses it, and it kind of has a disdain. And so I really don't like using the word stupid. I think it's so demeaning and so mean. So yeah, silly is what I'm gonna call this silly girl. Silly. You sound silly.
Why would you do this to me? Why are you treating me like this? You playing in my face like I'm a stranger in the street, so I'm treating you the same way. Why do I have to treat you? Why do I have to parent the parent? Why do I have to treat you with more respect than you give me? I understand now through months of healing and therapy and all of these things that I have a burden to be better. I understand that.
Right. That's it. Like that. Right. It's like you don't, but you like, that's the other thing. Y'all gonna hear me say it all the time when we talking about different things, but it's the truth. You only get to control yourself. Like somebody else, and I tell, like, maybe because I've been betrayed, I've had some things happen where people have not been the kindest to me. And whether, like, if I gave you the scenarios, somebody might be like, oh, well, you could have decided, like, put it back off on me, however, I don't care what it is. I don't blame somebody for taking advantage of somebody else just because that person maybe allowed themselves to be taken advantage of. The person who knew better, I'm going to put the fault on them. Like if you knew better and you still did wrong, then you're wrong. And that's kind of where she sits. Like that's the thing. If you're the one that's explaining all of this to everybody else, then that would say you know better. So when you know better, you do better. And when you don't do better, now you just look crazy like the rest of them, you know. So
now, but in that moment, oh lady, oh my God, that was a really heavy night for me. That was a really dark time, and I know that I didn't come
you
to
know,
that
and that
place
may come from there too, Miss Dogan. It's funny that you say that. I don't necessarily remember. Maybe it may have been put in me that that was not a nice word to say, and it is. It's not nice. And funny that you say it. Like I say, I have somebody that's close to me that uses it, and it's like there's a disdain, or it's just they have such a or emphasis when they use the word. It's nasty and negative, and so I get it. And no, nobody should be you calling people that. What didn't he say when they were talking about using the B word? Talking about sometimes people just say it and it's like coming down from their gut. That's kind of how they use it. Like you be like saying the word stupid, and it's like it's from your gut, honey. Like you just think they ain't got no type of brains, huh? Like nothing.
out of nowhere. And I didn't go into that scene. I didn't even come onto this season with the intent to embarrass Jackie, to trick her out of her spot. All these things that people are saying, that was never my intention.
Calling her Jackie, is that y'all thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why I'm like, now mind you, y'all want to pick and choose. Ming get on live and she called her mom Vicky. And don't nobody blink twice. But when I called Jackie, now I call Jackie at Christmas time. That's just art. Like it's never.
That's y'all
been a
dynamic
thing.
his child.
Yes,
Okay.
it's never been in a disrespectful way. I
Okay.
understand watching that. It's like, oh, she was yelling.
She used it in a disrespectful way. See, like, and that's the game that. So if Jackie a narcissist, so is she. And that's the game that they play with each other, because it either means nothing or it means something, because there are times when she says it and she knows exactly what, she's saying it to mean something.
And she called her Jackie. I answered the phone when we on good terms. Jackie, what is it now? Like that's just our dynamic.
That's our dynamic. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to put that. I'm like, girl. Okay. So obviously, listen. When I saw the moment of you and your mother's altercation, and I'm being very honest with you, and I even said this in my recap, I felt awful.
Mm-hmm.
I felt awful as a viewer watching that, because it was something like, I don't want to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see this. I felt that way as a viewer. In that moment, of course, people are saying, Chantel, you deserve it. You pushed your mother. And people are even saying, Chantel, your mother should have done worse to you. When that happened, when your mother, and did she make contact with you?
I hate Carlos when he does stuff like that. Like people are saying she should have done worse. Like, listen, you know what? I feel like sometimes things get taken a lot of out of context. And I feel like, speaking as one mom, like, and I'm gonna speak for a lot of other moms, no mother is walking around waiting on an opportunity to take their child out this world, or to beat their child ass like they some stranger on the street. Like no mom is waiting for an opportunity to do that. So even if he in the comments and he hearing like or seeing people write comments about, oh, I would have done X, Y, and Z, or she would have like the saying, I'm gonna knock you into the middle of next week. Like that's not even possible, right? If we're talking about in a literal sense, like that's not even possible. But what I can do is make your life live in hell where you can wish it was the middle of next week, right? Like you can wish your ass was already in the next week and that this shit was over. Anyway, so like when he's talking about the people saying that she should have did worse, like you just really are barking up the wrong tree because that's not really what anybody was saying. I digress.
She didn't. She pushed me into the camera. Like she balled up her fist and kind of tried to, like, she was aiming for my head, but because I ducked out the way, I fell into the cameraman. That's how the finger ended up bleeding. Like it wasn't there was no real contact that was made other than her pushing me into the camera. Her intention was to probably sock me in between the washer and dryer or whatever they on here saying, but that's not the way that happened. It didn't land. I wasn't,
that's true.
As you see in the next scene, like nothing, it didn't happen.
Then why did you go back and tell the girl she hit you?
I think that for me, and what I want people to understand is I can see how it looks like I was a liar. When I left that scene, and I went back down there and I explained to the women what happened. This is 15, 20 minutes after this altercation with my mom. Now, should I have left that room and went to my own? Absolutely. That should have been the end of it, right? But as a producer, I think you can understand sometimes when you're in the moment and we're filming this show, is you got the mic on, like you're trying to kind of complete this story, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Listen, things get cloudy. And again, I'm just being real. And that's why it's the beauty of this podcast, because I am a producer. Anytime a big altercation happened on any of my shows, right? What I need y'all to understand is cast member called to ask for a play-by-play because things happen so fast that you don't remember things. And sometimes you just, it happens so fast. So I will say this, and I'm not making no excuses. As a producer from Pillow Talk, Atlanta Housewives, all the girls called me and said, what happened? To Love and Hip Hop. They all called me, be like, now what really went down? Because exactly. it is cloudy. So I will say that does happen, yes. So at that moment, did you feel like when you walked back and told them she hit me, is because you thought she hit you, or did the memory of she didn't make contact with you? Like, what was your thought process?
I think it was all very blurry for me. And I think that I led with, she swung on me.
Yes.
And I think that it morphed into, she really put her hands on me because I was just in disbelief that you really balled up your fist and tried to aim for my head like I was a stranger in the street simply because I pushed you off of me. And I feel like that's what the viewers are, they're being willfully ignorant in this way.
Now we reminding you that you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth, honey, and you don't know what natural reaction is to somebody walking up on you, talking to you like that. It's what you got. That's what you don't understand.
You put your hand on my elbow, knowing that I'm upset, whether you were trying to usher me out the room or not, whether I should have left out the door or not. As my mother, you know that I'm upset. You know that touching me is going to send me off. You're trying to not sun me, but you're trying to, come on, do you get what I'm saying? And because I've already made up in my mind that this.
Yeah, go ahead. Like because at the same time, now you explaining to us like that she's not allowed to touch you like that. I wish she would have knocked your lights out.
This is the game that you're playing, and this is the narrative that you're going with. Like, watch out. Don't do that. You get what I'm saying? I see now how that push looks like. Well, girl, you started it and you deserve everything that was coming to you. That is not how I felt in that moment. And that's still not how I feel today. Should I have pushed her? Absolutely not. I don't want my kids to put their hands on me. I want my kids to treat me that way? No. But will I do to my kids what my mom has done to me? No.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because was she not old enough to realize, what her child is not old enough to show her, is that you don't get to decide that. You really don't get to decide what problems your children end up bringing to you.
So I guess we'll never know. But I know that in that moment, I felt like, don't touch me. Like, you hear me say, don't touch me. Now, whether or not y'all want to acknowledge that her hand was on my elbow, whether or not you want to acknowledge that I'm upset and I'm angry and I'm just, you can.
You couldn't remember at the time if she actually hit you or not, or if that, but you remember specifically that her hand was on your elbow. On your elbow.
Can see that I'm spiraling. Never once did she say, you know what, cut the cameras. This is enough. Nothing. You're playing into this too. Never once did you say all bets are off. This is enough. We both could have said that. And neither one of us did. I know my reason for it. Because in my mind, at this big age, I'm finally standing up to this person that I have all of this anger towards.
Mhm.
I'm not backing down. If that means that this has to be here on this stage in front of all these people, I don't care, because I know that I'm confronting this problem in my life for once. But for you, who clearly you take this as a game, you could have removed yourself from this situation. You sitting here on the couch, scrolling on your phone, waiting for the next showdown. But I'm the problem, because a lot of us in specifically Black households are raised to believe, or are raised on the belief, do as I say, not as I do.
Mhm.
Have respect for your parents at all times. It doesn't matter what they say, what they do. I think that there's a new generation of kids and adults that are coming and that are happening that are not going for that anymore. I need to respect you because you're my parent, but you have got to give me something to respect.
Mhm.
Why do I have to respect you just because of your title? Mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, husband, it doesn't. I'm not going to accept anybody else's toxic behavior simply because of their title. I'm not doing it. If that means that I'm a messed up person,
I'm okay with that. I'm just not okay with you being toxic also.
if that's how y'all want to view me, I'll be okay. The sun will rise tomorrow. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna take my kids to school. I'm gonna make my husband like, I'm gonna go on about my life because I know my truth and I know my intentions. If I had came on here with the intent to embarrass her, to out her, to talk down about her, etc., maybe I would feel embarrassed, or like, damn, like she really foiled my plans. Everybody's saying, oh, you came on here with the intent to embarrass your mom and you failed. I didn't fail. I freed myself. I didn't fail. This wasn't the goal, but I addressed a dragon in my life, and I can walk away from the situation knowing that I handled it the best I could. And until you're in that situation, you cannot tell me how to feel. You really can't. What people fail to realize, and I shared this with some of the girls off camera, is that when I was 27, I've always had really bad migraines and headaches. I went to the doctor, I got MRIs and all these scans, and the neurologist came back with, you have an aneurysm on the right side of your brain. This is something that obviously my parents are aware of. I've told all of my close loved ones, like, if something ever happens to me, like, it could be that. You just never know. Like, so for me, one, we know that I've tried for the last 5 years to live a very stress-free life. That's why I was out the way. That's why I wasn't in nobody's blogs. That's why I was just out the way living a very peaceful life. You brought me here. You stressed me to the point of disbelief, and then you aim for my head. Yeah. I'm not gonna wear what they're putting on me. I'm not gonna do that, Carlos. I'm not.
All right. Are we done? Are we done? I think we done with this. I can't get because I feel like we got to the fight. She says she take accountability. Well, she says she understands that she was wrong, but like I told y'all before, she still is doubling down and explaining why we ended up here. And you know, this is the worst accountability slash let me explain my side video I ever seen. I don't even she get it from her mama. Cause remember I just told y'all I couldn't finish Jackie's interview with Carlos either. I did not finish that entire interview. And it really was because of the circle she was talking in and the delusion. And I mean, I have to get off the ride. Like Chantel says she a June Gemini, but baby, I gotta get off this ride too. I am done. I am done with Miss Chantel. Okay. Let me see. I want to change this to the other one. Not the circle. Let's do that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm done with this interview. I'm not gonna be able to watch the rest, not on this live anyway, because we'd have been on here almost 3 hours trying to get through that. And I know I have been, kind of commentating just because that's the reason why I wanted us to watch it together so we could commentate together with it. But we didn't get no answers. In the words of Cynthia, we didn't learn a damn thing from this recording. Love when she said that. That is my favorite thing. Y'all, if y'all help me with my Cash App, y'all can help me get a sound machine. I usually don't be begging for stuff, but I'm begging for that because I cannot wait. When I get a sound machine, please understand that is going to be on there. Cynthia, we didn't learn a damn thing from this recording. Because we didn't learn a damn thing. Or what I will say is what I learned and what I'm sharing with y'all is Chantel, hopefully after this, like she just kind of said, she had did some months of healing. So hopefully after the altercation, maybe she did get into somebody's counseling or, just seek out some extra help and healing and guidance about the situation. Because clearly it's toxic, right? We all agree with that. But I feel like her coming onto the show was a problem. I think there needs to be a very intentional deep dive into your reasoning behind coming on this woman's platform when you know how you felt about where your situation was with her. You tell us that the baby only met his grandmother at 7 months. Y'all started filming at he was 9 or 10 months. So the scene where we see you kind of forcefully trying to check Jackie about how close she is to your son, you very much did want to expose that on television. But she did not wrap that up on Carlos' show that way. She just kind of made it seem like, well, I'm a mama bear and I didn't want my son to be crying. He doesn't really know her. And it was like, girl, you did that to make sure we all understood. Because I feel like like those details, if you didn't want to make that the focal point of the season with y'all, because we already knew that there were issues, right? Then you would have let that ride. It would not have been so important to you to make sure that everybody in the public understood Jackie doesn't really know her grandson. Like, I don't know why that was important for her. So that for me just validates that it appears that she's in some sort of weird competition with her mom. Maybe it is because of the dislike, the problems, what have you. Either way it go, I hope Chantel is getting healed. Like I said, my heart goes out to her because I understand what it's like being the daughter and maybe wanting a relationship that's different than what you have. And even with that being said, like I had stopped and said, like sometimes I think as humans in this life, in this world, we have to be okay with what is. And we kind of have to start normalizing new normals about because things become normal for a reason. Sometimes it is out of protection, sometimes it is for the betterment. Like, and I'm not talking about a toxicity, of making toxicity normal. I'm saying that not all mother daughters live in the same city, so they don't do shopping, they don't do lunch, they don't, maybe not all parent child relationships talk every day. Maybe that is not necessarily the sign to what healthy relationship, like, to what a healthy relationship is. Talking to somebody every day doesn't necessarily equate that. And so I think we need to get more in tune with recognizing those types of things, and normalizing what is normal for our lives and for our family. And again, in a healthy way. No way am I like promoting toxicity, because toxicity is good for no one. But what I'm saying is, like, it's not good to look at everybody else's life or situation and then deem that as being normal, quote unquote. So I think that's some of the things that Chantel, for me, has to really come to grips with, is you have to let go of what you wanted, maybe even what was, and deal with what is and what is to be. And so hopefully they get on their pathway of doing that. As we saw with the last episode of Basketball Wives, honey, Jackie did not address the situation at all, not even a little bit. And this is the first that we are hearing about any of it, which again is strange because it's Chantel that reached out to Carlos, not the other way around, because she felt it very necessary to get her version in public. Probably because we all kind of like thinking she did wrong. So I think she's feeling defensive. And maybe that's an okay feeling. Because maybe you should be defensive about that. Because I think she does need to check what her intentions was in entering that show. I don't think they were as pure as she would like for us to all believe. Either way, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You already know the drill. Once you subscribe to the channel, you become a part of the family. These are the internet cousins over here. #cousin crew. If you are listening to the replay, make sure you drop down in the comments. Let me know where you're listening from. Appreciate everybody who did stop by and check in with me during their lunchtime, on vacation, all of that. And we will catch you on another live. Again, actually, we'll do the next live. It will be Sunday, right? Sunday is the next planned live. We'll do Love and Marriage Huntsville. And actually, I am telling a fib. Real Housewives, we wrapped up Real Housewives of Atlanta, the reunion, part 3 on Monday. So Love and Marriage Huntsville will now take the place of Monday nights. So join me Monday Night Live at 8:30. We'll do Love and Marriage Huntsville. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I will do impromptu lives, or I will post a video of different reviews. I don't always go live. Some be recorded. So you just need to be subscribed so you can get a notification when the new live comes up. Okay? All right, y'all. I gotta go.